And Amy on KMOX. I'm looking at Amy Marks Kors right now. She's having a fantastic day. Birthday's over.
Yep.
We can stop talking about that. Thank God we can stop talking about your birthday. We're going to do really important stuff today. We promise you of that. We want to hear from you. You can be an important part of the show. 314-436-7900. Call or text that number. Let me give you the voicemail number, 314-944-1120. We are on social media. We're on Twitter, X. We are on Threads and Instagram at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everybody will be talking about.
Bro, it is hot. It is so hot right now. And it's going to remain hot for a while. Dean DeVore is going to join us, AccuWeather meteorologist, and maybe provide us a little relief.
I don't know if he's going to provide relief. I do want to mention, you don't want to miss it, because Dean DeVore is going to answer the question that Ranj has been asking me every day for 100 years.
What the hell is a heat index? If we have real feel.
Okay. I was
Dean,
just
what is a
leave it
heat
out
index?
There. Dean, please.
It's this. Thank you for joining the show.
Yeah, please explain to us the real feel. All right. Also, kind of a bizarre moment for the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. He was speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill yesterday when he suddenly just froze. He stopped moving. He stopped speaking mid-sentence and had to be helped away from the podium.
And the Cardinals, after winning the series against the Diamondbacks on the road, they come back home to Busch Stadium to take on the Cubs for a 4-gamer. Has Jack Flaherty pitched his last game here in St. Louis for the Cardinals? We will talk that over later on in the show today. But we welcome you in. We will talk to Dean DeVore. Of course, Major Garrett will join us because it's Thursday. John Rooney usually visits with us on Wednesday. Will be with us today, a radio voice of the Cardinals. Also going to talk to investigative reporter for the New York Times, Katie Thomas, about doctors and healthcare systems and how doctors sometimes are profiting from amputations. And we'll talk about all kinds of stuff with her.
It's really out there, and it has to do with medical sales and medical devices and risky procedures. So that is in the 12 o'clock hour. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about these UFOs too.
UAPs, buddy.
No, I'm sorry. The UAPs.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
It's just one of those things like the Sears Tower. It's just the Sears Tower. It's not going to be the Willis Tower ever.
Like right? Riverport.
It's Riverport.
Twitter.
Twitter. It's going to be Twitter. It's not going to be X. Yeah. I don't care what he calls it. It's still in the domain. So, UFOs for as long as I have anything to say about it.
But UFOs do sound a little less credible. It has an element of the zany versus a UAP. Oh, well, yes, the Air Force saw a UAP versus a UFO, which is like, well, my cousin Cletus was out in the field.
Well, they're always going after Cletus.
I know.
In his pickup truck.
Have you noticed UFOs are always in rural areas? And maybe that makes sense. Maybe because they're trying to find a place that's not densely populated. They don't want to hit any buildings.
Right. Well, I mean, if you go to a densely populated area and you pick up somebody, other people are going to see it.
Well, sure.
You can't drop in the middle of New York without creating a buzz. And if I know anything about aliens, it's they don't want to create a buzz.
They like to lay low.
But there was an actual congressional hearing about this yesterday. So we'll talk about that later on in the show.
It was probably Glover because they talk about aliens a lot.
Loves aliens and Bigfoot.
We always assume these aliens are like big. And it was somebody on the show said, what if aliens are so small that they're already here and we don't know it?
What if they're just invisible?
Well, there's invisible, but then there's also the idea that, like, what if aliens are those little ants?
Like microscopic almost? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And then you're like, well,
how would they fly the ship?
In tinier ships, tiny little ships. That'd be the cutest thing ever.
So this is not really the most important thing in the world, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway.
Yeah.
A thing happened to me yesterday that I know Amy Marks Kors is going to appreciate because I went to see the Oppenheimer 70 millimeter version just to see if it was any different. And from my perspective, I don't know how it's supposed to look. Everybody's made a big deal about 70 millimeter projection,
Yeah.
actual film instead of digital, which is how most movies are shown in theaters these days. So I don't know. It felt like an older film experience. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to feel like.
Because you initially saw Oppenheimer in
the IMAX digital.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Because I do know that the IMAX 70 millimeter, which is the pinnacle, and that's the thing you're supposed to do. The closest theater to us is in Indianapolis.
Oof.
So you would have had to go 4 hours to Indy to watch it like that. And they fly in projectionists, like people who that is their job. They bring them in specifically to show this movie because there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into it. Anyway, I saw it. I don't know how it's supposed to look, but it just looked like being in the theater in an older experience.
I do have to ask because people are hesitant to see Oppenheimer in the first place, not only because of the dark subject matter, but it's over 3 hours long. It's a historical
I think it's right
drama,
at 3.
Right at 3 hours.
Yeah.
So having seen it for the second time in less than a week, did you feel at all antsy sitting in the theater for 3 hours?
It was actually easier watching it the second time. I felt like. Yeah, and you pick up a little bit more. And I don't do that often where I go to a movie, see it, and then maybe a week later go see it again.
Yeah.
I think I've only done that 2 or 3 times in my life prior to this. I know a lot of people will go 3 times and watch a movie in a theater. It just doesn't happen. But here's the important thing. I go to the bathroom prior to the movie starting. And I walk in. They got nice bathrooms at Ronnie's. I walk in. And, you can't help but look at the stalls. There was a door shut, so a gentleman was in the stall, I could tell. I saw his shoes.
Could you see between the cracks?
Kind of.
Sometimes the cracks are too big.
The cracks are a little too big. I didn't walk up and look in.
You put your eyeball against
like, hey, what's going on in there?
Against the crack?
But
yeah,
this man, I don't know what he was doing in that bathroom, but he had a big tub of popcorn and soda on the floor, sitting on the floor.
My gosh.
While he was doing whatever he was doing.
Oh my
Amy, you would have died. You would have died if you would have
I
seen it.
Feel like throwing up.
I don't even take, I had this, not this one, but I had a plastic water bottle. I don't even take that into the bathroom.
So
I don't take food. I don't take beverages into bathrooms.
No.
This man had it on the floor of the stall.
And set it like, I wouldn't even set my drink on the sink, right? Away from the stalls because there's fecal matter floating in the air. And he had it on the floor.
You would have died.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in a bathroom. And it was a full tub of popcorn. I could see the popcorn. I could see it on top.
This is when you should channel your inner Kevin Killeen. Wait for him to come out of the stall and make a whole nother story about it.
It was. I should have just. I
Did
should
you think
have.
He was going to get roofied? Why did he not just leave it?
Why don't you go
sink?
after? Go to the bathroom first and then go to the concession stand.
Well, I will say this: sometimes it hits you. Maybe he got hit.
I guess. But dude,
my gosh.
On the floor of the stall of the bathroom, his popcorn.
If I were by myself and I had popcorn and a soda, before I did that, I would throw it away. I would just throw everything away and start over. But lest you think, okay, that's really wasteful. Before I threw it away, I would even go back to the concession stand and say, can I set this right here? I'm so sorry.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I
would do that before I...
There's no chance.
Popcorn into the bathroom
and putting it on the floor.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
on the floor.
That's disgusting.
Whew. This text message from 314 says, I once saw a slimy kind of dude at the urinal next to me having a conversation on his smartphone while doing his business. I think that's pretty standard. That's not really gross. This is not food. This is not food that you're going to put in your mouth.
I can't. People have conversations in the stall, but I even feel nervous being in a bathroom because if you're on the phone, there's a certain echo that bathrooms have, whether it's their bathroom at home or your bathroom at work. There's an echo. There's the bathroom echo. Plus, there could be ancillary flushes from other people. So I don't talk on the phone in the bathroom. But even if I'm at my own apartment, I feel I feel
It's awkward.
like it's awkward.
Yeah.
It's a little too personal. I can't take phone calls.
I was interviewing a baseball player, 12-ish years ago.
Yeah.
Phone interview, and it had that echo sound to
Yeah.
it. And we get close to being done with the interview, and then I hear this, pounding in the background.
Mhm.
And I said, "What is that?" And he's like, my dad's trying to get into the bathroom." And then I go, "Oh, are you in the bathroom?" He's like, "Hey man, I gotta go." So the phone thing ends, the interview's over, and he texted me, he's like, "Yeah, man, sorry, I was having a number 2 while I was talking to you the
That's
entire
pretty
time."
gross.
Did a whole interview while he was
So
on the throne.
I have like a serious question, and I'm not trying to be gross, and I don't know if I should ask it because I do feel like this is KMOX and Robert Hyland would be rolling over in his
We're not
grave.
too worried about that anymore.
Okay. You've dated a few ladies in your life, right?
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes there's flatulence, right?
Okay, what?
No, I just want to know, is there a certain point in your relationship where you feel fine being open about that?
That's Amy Mark Scores. I'm Chris Ranji. This is KMOX.
KMOX, honored for our breaking weather coverage by the Missouri Broadcasters Association.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. During summer, be sure to use dishwashers and stoves in the evening to minimize the effects of heat. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle. That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
When it's time to shop for your next pair of shoes, consider New Balance St. Louis. We have the largest selection of styles and sizes to help you find the perfect fit. See for yourself why New Balance is the most referred athletic brand by medical professionals. Our fit pros are extremely knowledgeable and take the time to understand your specific goals and activities. Customer service and selection makes all the difference when selecting a shoe store. Visit us in Creve Coeur, Richmond Heights, and Fairview Heights. New Balance St. Louis. Nationally known, locally owned.
Don't miss Nissan's amazing celebration of savings. Get up to $3,000 off select models. Plus, 2023 Nissan Sentras and Kicks have just arrived at St. Charles Nissan, but they're going fast, so hurry in for the best selection. Everyone knows inventory has been tight, but St. Charles Nissan has just received new Altimas and Rogues. So check yours out today at St. Charles Nissan, a quarter mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off Highway 70, or visit online at stcharlesnissan.com.
Fairwinds River's Edge is an award-winning independent living community located in the heart of St. Charles. Voted best independent living by U.S. News and World Report, Fairwinds River's Edge provides the life-enhancing independent living services you need to support your best self. We believe that joy isn't just for the young, it's for the young at heart. With services and amenities handling life's necessities, you can dance and enjoy live entertainment at happy hour, participate in an aqua fitness class in a warm water pool, or go out to Crown Candy for lunch. Say goodbye to home maintenance, cooking and cleaning, and hello to the fun. In our active community for adults 55 plus, you'll cultivate connections and make meaningful memories in a community that feels like home. Join the fun at Fairwinds River's Edge on Thursday, August 24th at our 50s sock hop with live entertainment by Backstreet Cruisers. Call 636-754-2317 to RSVP.
Total Information AM on KMOX, winner of the Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Newscast.
It's Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX. We go to the Quiver River Electric guest line today. It is so hot that we had to bring in Dean DeVore, AccuWeather meteorologist. And the reason we have him in is because, I don't know, I think we want comfort and we need answers to a question.
Dean, Ranj has been pestering me, badgering me with this question. And we hear your forecast, several times a day. We're always listening. And Ranj, ask Dean your question.
What is the difference between real feel and heat index?
All right. I'm glad you asked.
Thank you.
Ranj. And I'm glad we're not talking about what you were talking about in the segment before. I was like, I came on hold here and I'm like, I really hope we're not going there.
Amy knows how to derail a conversation, I tell you.
There you go.
Oh, but we do have a text message, Dean. Says they once saw a woman take an empty popcorn bucket out of a trash can and get a free refill at the theater. You ever done that?
No, I haven't. But let me explain real feel. Real feel is something that AccuWeather came up with. Now, let's start back to heat index and wind chill, right? Those are the two things that we were used to grow up. Right. Wind chill is only looking at the temperature and the wind speed, regardless of any other weather factor. The heat index only looks at the temperature and the amount of humidity in the air, which is measured by what we call the dew point. Those two things only have two factors. But here at AccuWeather, decades ago, we said, things can be affected more than those two elements in each of those scenarios. A really cold, windy day, yes, we'll have a real feel, we'll have a wind chill that's lower, but a really cold day with clouds may feel as cold, but it's without the wind, it won't be as severe. So what we did at AccuWeather decades ago was normalize that kind of scale from the fact that we take into account wind speed and humidity, sky cover. A day that's sunnier with 90 feels a lot different than a day that's cloudier than 90. When you're in the sun, you're broiling. When it's clouding it over, it's hot and sticky, but it's not as bad, right? Wind direction, all those kinds of things. And then we made that scale usable all the time, 365 days a year. Don't have to wait for winter for wind chill. Don't have to wait for summer for heat index. So that scale then has become to what we use at AccuWeather, and that's what we call the real field temperature. So it actually can be used anytime, and there's other good uses for it too. On even a nice sunny, warm day that's like 85 degrees and nice sunshine, not too humid. If you step in the shade and there's a little bit of a breeze going, that real feel actually goes from about 90 in the sun to about 75, 80 in the shade. So there are times if you look on our app, especially on sunny, hot days, you'll see the real feel sun, real feel shade, because that can be different. And a lot of times we talk about that in times of the year. Hey, I picked the sunny side of the street today to get a little warmer feel, or I picked the shady side of the street to keep you feeling cool. So that's the explanation of AccuWeather real field temperatures. There's a guide online. If you go, it kind of groups it and says, this range of AccuWeather real fields is comfortable. This is hot. This is very hot, and all those kinds of things.
So boiling it down, heat index is temperature plus humidity, but real feel is temperature, humidity, the wind, the cloud
sky cover, right? Everything. Yeah, it takes into account. And we worked on it really hard decades ago, and we really started pushing it. And it's been something that has taken a while, but now you'll see other places they'll say feels like. Which is, they're not allowed to say the real field temperature because we got a little trademark on that.
That's right.
But feels like temperatures and that. So they've actually gotten away from the strict definition of what the heat index is in the summer and what the wind chill is in the winter.
Dean, what is the difference to just the average person between humidity levels, like the percent humidity, and the dew point?
Well, this is that's a great question, Amy, and we were talking here. I think we should be able to, on our own personal app, be able to set that, because everybody's different. I start feeling humidity when I'm exerting and myself when we're getting to the dew point about 60 or so. Then when it's 65, then I don't really want to do too much. And if it's over 70, like today, the dew point at Lambert, our official reporting station, is 72. So it's 91 with a dew point of 72. Now, the thing that's saving us a little bit today in terms of the real feel is that breeze. It's 15, 20 miles per hour. So right now you factor in that 96 degree is the real feel at 91. If there wasn't breeze right now, I bet that real feel would be up closer to 100 or past. The dew point, so this is the relative humidity is a number you hear a lot, but that number is relative to the temperature. Warm air can hold more moisture. Right? The hotter the area is, the more moisture it can hold. So we use the dew point. That's the absolute measure of how much actual humidity is in. But it was hard to explain back in the day, so I think nobody ever really wanted to push it. I talk about it a lot because, now that we have apps and stuff, everybody can see those numbers. So I don't know, maybe do a test, Amy, next time when you say, oh, it's feeling humid right now to me. What's the dew point? Oh, it's 63. Well, that must be my level, right? So there you go.
It actually, to the point of your anecdotal test, Ron is going to kill me because I always bring running into it. But I do train. I do train for marathons, and looking at coaches and when you adjust your pace, they said yes, humidity is important, but for a runner and for performance, it's the dew point you need to look at. And it said once you get to certain dew points, you physically cannot perform your best.
Right, absolutely, because your body does not have the ability to cool off. What your body wants is to try to equalize, and so if and this is where you should start correcting people when they say the humidity is 72%. No, that's the relative humidity. The humidity actually is that the dew point is blank D blank. Yeah. So when it's that high, the high levels that we're seeing, upper 60s, your body sweats, but it doesn't evaporate because it's sweating and there's not dry air around it. It's very humid air surrounding you, and so there's no evaporation. It's the evaporation of that sweat off your body into drier air that is what gives you the cooling feeling. That's in fact, I'll use this analogy. The coldest I've ever felt is on top of a roof pool in Las Vegas, Nevada, when the temperature was 120, and I got out of the pool, and because there was a breeze and it's so dry, I felt like I was freezing. I was shivering. I was like, how can I do that at 120? That's because the water was evaporating so quickly off my skin that I was feeling cold.
I would like to point out that I have been on the dew point train for 13 years, and I'll tell you why. I had a lady friend who was a meteorologist, and she taught me about this. She said, no, it's not humidity. It's the dew point you need to care about.
Well, the dew point is the actual humidity. Relative humidity is kind of a thing that we got. Well, we took the easy road, I guess.
I love to correct people and act like I know. It's awesome.
You got one thing you can do that with, Ranji, right?
Damn it,
See,
Dean.
did I feel fit right into this show?
Good Lord.
We love you,
That's
Dean.
it. No more Dean DeVore.
Dean is welcome back
Dean's
anytime.
Out. He's out.
Okay. I'm blacklisted. I'll see you guys later.
Bye, Dean.
Bye.
Take care.
Dean DeVore, AccuWeather meteorologist. Just stuffing it in my face. All right.
Awesome.
We've got.
I used to date a meteorologist. I know about dew point.
That's right. I know. I've known about dew
But
point
when
since
did
2010.
you toot? When did you toot?
Okay, Amy.
How long did you know her?
Let's
1
ask
month?
Major Garrett.
No.
When we come back on KMOX.
He's Michael Kelly.
I love getting to spend time talking politics.
He's John Hancock.
You never know what we're going to be talking about.
It's Hancock and Kelly.
Boy, what a pair.
Now part of Expanded Total Information AM. Friday mornings at 8:30.
Now that people know we're going to be on every Friday, they can avoid listening to us.
Nah, they'll be listening. Everybody wants to hear common sense political discourse.
Hancock and Kelly. Hear what they've got to say. Friday mornings, 8:30 till 10. Only on KMOX.
It is 10:29. The time check brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month for news, weather, and emergency information. A new bill in Congress would make sure AM radio remains in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
At 10:30, some sun and 91 degrees downtown at the Arch. An excessive heat warning does continue through 9 p.m. tomorrow. For the worst of the heat in our extended heat wave, expect real field temperatures to reach 105 to 110 over the next few afternoons. July has been so hot that scientists calculate that this month will be the globally hottest on record and likely the warmest human civilization has seen, even though there are several days left to sweat through. Russian leader Vladimir Putin says the fighting in the Zaporizhia region of southeastern Ukraine has intensified significantly. A Western official had said earlier that Kyiv has launched a major push to dislodge Russia's troops in the area.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Cardinal baseball tonight at 6:45 as the Cardinals host the Chicago Cubs, the first of 4, perhaps some payback for losing 3 of 4 at Wrigley Field. The Cardinals have actually won 4 of their last 5 series, including beating the Diamondbacks yesterday, 11-7 down at Phoenix. They're back home for tonight. Miles Michaelis will throw the first pitch at 6:45. Lefty Justin Steele goes for the Cubs. This Cardinals report is sponsored by Aloha Pools USA. Swim next summer, AlohaPoolsUSA.com.
And right now we've got some slow-moving road work on 141 going south at 6440. The left lane is closed. Also 44 going west at Vanaventer. The right lane's closed because of some road work there. Hot, humid with sunshine and a gusty breeze this afternoon with a high of 101, close to exceeding the record potentially of 106 from 1930. For tonight, warm, patchy clouds, low 82. For tomorrow, breezy in the morning, mix of clouds and sun, and a danger of dehydration and heat stroke if you stay outside for extended amounts of time. Tomorrow's high, 103. At the moment, it's 91 downtown at the Arch. It feels like 97. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Being a baseball play-by-play broadcaster demands a blend of learned mechanics, intense preparation, and a calm sense of entertainment. How hard is it to do this job? Let's talk to the ones who do it. This is Matt Spiegel. My new podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, will bring those conversations to you as the best working and former broadcasters tell you why and how they do it. New episodes come every Thursday all summer long. Follow The PBP, Voices of Baseball, on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
If you're looking for a reliable and trusted electrical service provider, look no further than Reinhold Electric, your go-to experts for all your electrical needs. Whether you need residential or commercial electrical services, Reinhold Electric has you covered. With decades of experience and a team of highly skilled electricians, we deliver top-notch solutions tailored to your specific requirements. No job is too big or too small for our experienced team. Call 314-631-1158 online at ReinholdElectric.com.
After years of hearing the commercials on KMOX, I decided to finally make an appointment with Ophthalmology Associates. You know the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Busati, and Dr. Andy Royer. Well, I'd been hearing about dry eye, and I knew that I had dry eyes. Dr. Ranjan Malhotra told me that it's not just an irritating problem, it's actually irritating my eyes, and that it's so important to have dry eye addressed because it can actually scratch your cornea, cause greater damage, lead you to believe that your vision is getting worse. Turns out I don't need new glasses. I just need to address the dry eye situation. You should definitely check out Ophthalmology Associates. They are experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or online at youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, just a half-mile west of 270 eastbound on Manchester. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sunday mornings at 10:15 on Sports on a Sunday morning, and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show on Cardinals Radio, KMOX.
It's Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX. We've had a lot happen in the last week and in the last couple of days in Washington, and what better time to talk to Major Garrett, who is our weekly contributor here on this station at 10:30. He is the CBS chief Washington correspondent and author of The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie, host of the Takeout podcast. We go to the Quiver River Electric guest line. Major is with us this morning on KMOX. Hello, Major Garrett.
Hello, and good morning.
We are having, good morning to you. I think we are having quite the week in Washington. I feel like we start every segment like this, right?
Yeah.
Quite the week in Washington. A lot going on again.
Yes. So just to let everyone know, there is an atmosphere of anticipation / dread in Washington, D.C. today. The Jack Smith grand jury is meeting. There was a meeting between the prosecutors and the former President Donald Trump's attorneys today. So I would tell everyone advisedly, today could be a significant news event later on.
We will be keeping an eye on that. And speaking of legal issues, just yesterday, Hunter Biden was scheduled to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges in lieu of pleading guilty for a felony gun possession count. However, the judge expressed concern over the felony gun possession count being attached to the guilty plea. So Hunter Biden pled not guilty. Where do we stand with argue that this didn't go through? I guess in my head, I thought it was, pretty much a sealed deal.
I'm very surprised. And I was the anchor of yesterday's CBS special report coverage of this matter. So I was in the anchor chair starting at 10:30 Eastern yesterday morning, waiting to see what would happen. And the guidance we had received from the court, the attorneys, and the prosecution was this would begin at 10. It could be over as early as 11. There was a designated area that Hunter Biden, after introducing the plea deal and having it accepted, and after being processed in the normal order of business, was going to go and deliver a statement, possibly take questions, but we were not really prepared for him to take questions, just make a statement. And that by noon Eastern, the things that had been set in motion and been thoroughly publicly discussed would have been resolved. That did not happen, and it is extremely unusual that did not happen. And the reason it didn't happen is because of a fundamental misunderstanding between the defense counsel, Hunter Biden's attorneys, and the prosecution. Hunter Biden's attorneys believed and made it pretty clear to the court that they would litigate this point in the future ad nauseum, that one of the aspects of this plea agreement on the diversion program for the gun charge was a global agreement not to hold Hunter Biden accountable for any other future things. No other prosecution charges could be brought against him, even though it was an ongoing investigation. And the judge, quite correctly, said, wait a minute, is that the interpretation the prosecution has? And the prosecution said, no, that's not our interpretation. This is an ongoing investigation, and if we find crimes that we intend to prosecute, we will prosecute them. And the judge said, well, okay, this language in this diversion portion of this plea agreement on the weapons charge isn't usual. It's not typical, and I need to know what you two understand it meaning to be. And when it was clear that there was this vast misunderstanding, not a technicality at all. It's not a technicality if the defense believes this protects a client in perpetuity and the prosecution says it protects you from nothing. That's not a technicality. And once this came to the surface and the judge intuitively sensed this was a problem, said, all right, you guys can chat for a little bit, come back in here and we'll see if we can resolve this. Well, the chatting went on and the two sides came back to the court and it was not resolvable. And so as a placeholder, Hunter Biden introduced a not guilty plea, and both sides have 2 weeks to see if they can reach a resolution. But this is now clearly, unequivocally, an ongoing investigation, and Hunter Biden can be charged with other crimes if the U.S. attorney in Delaware believes those are warranted. Hunter Biden thought walking into that courtroom, 10 a.m. Eastern, and he was bouncing. His step was lively. He was shaking hands with everybody. He had a smile on his face. what he thought was going to happen didn't happen. And this is now reached, I think it's fair to say, a legally perilous place for Hunter Biden, far more than he was pleading to. And the politics around this have only been amped up, if that was even possible.
I don't spend much time in a courtroom, and by that I mean I've never been in a courtroom. I don't think ever. How are the two sides getting to this point? There's a lot of work that goes into getting to that day yesterday. How are those two sides that far apart in understanding of what was happening?
So I asked that to Scott Frederickson, our legal expert and a former federal prosecutor and defense attorney, and Ricky Kleeman, also a legal expert, both experienced as prosecutors and defense counsel. They were completely flabbergasted. They thought it was almost beyond extraordinary. They were both reaching for ways to describe this, the proper adjectives to apply, because it was so astonishing to them that there could be this level of disagreement and misunderstanding about what this was actually supposed to be and what it would mean on the other side of this plea agreement. And I don't know if the defense counsel thought when the U.S. attorney was saying this is an ongoing investigation that they sort of meant that in a kind of jokey wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, yeah, we're just saying that, but we don't really mean it. That's a pretty large misinterpretation on behalf of a client, especially the client who happens to be the son of the President of the United States. From my vantage point, you need to have that thoroughly buttoned down beyond a shadow of a doubt. So what's represented to the court and what you plead to is not only what both sides believe, but is airtight and enforceable going forward. That protects your client's rights. And the judge, doing exactly what the judge is supposed to do, saw this language, saw that it was unusual, said, I want to make sure I understand what everyone thinks this means, because I'm not sure what it means. And when it became clear that both sides didn't have a joint understanding of what it meant, she said, all right, the defendant here doesn't know what this is about. And I can't in good conscience allow any defendant, let alone the son of the President of the United States, plead to this if this defendant doesn't understand what the implications of that plea agreement are and what they may be in the future. So this could come back, but if it comes back, make no mistake, if Hunter Biden pleads guilty to these three charges, that can go forward, and it may in fact go forward, but that doesn't protect him from anything else. And that's not what he was expecting, and that's not what he thought would happen to him when he walked into that courtroom yesterday.
Major, yesterday, the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell had a weird moment during a press conference. He suddenly just froze up mid-sentence, seemed unable to speak, maybe a little bit out of it before several people next to him, put their hands on his arms and helped guide him away from the podium. What is the update on that? Because he looked very frail in that moment.
He did. I've never seen anything like that. I wasn't there on Capitol Hill. I've been in that scenario literally hundreds of times in my earlier life as a congressional correspondent. That is the place on the Senate side of the U.S. Capitol on the second floor where leaders come to take questions from the Congressional Press Corps. It's a very standard thing. It happens every week. There's a routine built into it. And you just don't ever expect someone to freeze up like that and just go completely blank and be unable to not only continue a sentence, but be unable to recognize that they're frozen. Mitch McConnell was out of it. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what happened. I know he fell. He hit his head badly and had to take several weeks off from the United States Senate. We've now heard subsequent reports that other venues and other places he's fallen. So there are clearly some medical issues there. And for it to be that visible and for his colleagues to not catch on right away and be sort of also not frozen in the same medical context, but kind of, whoa, wait a minute, what's happening here? And then try to move him off and get his attention and resolve this very strange, borderline frightening situation is not something to joke about. It's not something to treat lightly. And so far, the Minority Leader's office hasn't been very candid about what they think this was, if there's been any medical evaluation, or if there's any update on any lingering effects from the fall that he took earlier this year that clearly I mean, it required hospitalization. It required several weeks away from the Senate. What condition he's in. And I would just say this, let's just be honest with ourselves. If that had been President Biden, can you imagine what the political reaction would be this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine what you'd be hearing? Now, I know the minority leader of the Senate, it's not the same as the President of the United States. They're not close. I agree. Granted. But in all the conversation about President Biden, if he had had a moment like that, can you imagine what it would sound like this morning nationwide?
Yeah.
So for Republicans who want to pound and find every little thing they see about President Biden as, for their point of view, absolute proof he's cognitively disabled or out of it or out of his mental or physical capabilities for the job, they now have a real lived experience with their Senate leader that they're going to have to reconcile themselves to because the real world experience of what everyone in the nation saw yesterday with Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, there's been nothing like that for Biden, nothing even close.
Yeah. And you're right. They do not hold the same position. It is not close. They have very different positions, but it's difficult to argue Mitch McConnell has not been extremely consequential in the last 20 years. He's been
absolutely
in the way that things have gone in this country. He is a huge part of that.
When the history of the modern, meaning 21st century Supreme Court is written, Mitch McConnell will loom incredibly large in the way the court is constituted now and how it got to be constituted.
Last thing for you, Major. There was a congressional hearing yesterday. Have you seen the alien bodies for yourself?
I have not.
Okay.
It's not for lack of trying. I must tell you, it's not for lack of trying.
The non-human biologics.
Okay.
That's what apparently has happened.
That's because Major doesn't spend enough time in fields, wide open fields.
Where you would get abducted.
That's where you would see them.
True enough.
So what do you make of that hearing yesterday?
So I will. Let's go back to where we started this conversation because I was in the anchor desk from 10:30 to 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, riveted on the goings on in Wilmington, Delaware. So I didn't get a chance to watch one moment of that hearing. I've seen reports about it. I know what the build up to it was. I'm a big fan of the TV series, not so much the movies, but the TV series X-Files. I know the truth is out there. I want to believe.
You are so
Come
diplomatic.
on, catch up, people. Come on,
Okay.
catch up,
All right.
catch up.
Major,
He's the best. This
you
guy.
really are. Thank you.
But I haven't seen them myself. Although one time at a bar in college, I was called an anomalous phenomenon.
An anomalous phenomenon. That's like, it sounds like it was a rejected line from some people call me the space cowboy. Some people call me an anomalous phenomenon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a physics student. You know, what am I going to tell you? You know?
Major Garrett, we appreciate you. Oh, wait, who's on the takeout this week?
Eric Swalwell, Democratic congressman from California, and a civil litigant against former President Trump over January 6th, saying that his role, the official role he was playing on January 6th, that it was disrupted, gives him civil standing to sue former President Trump for all the events around January 6th. That's been ratified by the district court. It's now waiting a judgment from the appeals court here in the District of Columbia, and it may head to the Supreme Court. We talk about that and a lot more, but Eric Swalwell is on the takeout this week.
Talk to you next week, Major.
See ya.
That is Major Garrett, Chief Washington Correspondent. The Takeout Podcast, it's on the Odyssey app, just like our show is, and our podcasts. Go get it. It's good, and it's free. Did you see this next?
St. Charles Hyundai, you want to head on over there. We only have a few more days left in July. And during July, you can take advantage of up to $1,000 in additional trade allowances towards a new Hyundai. you want to hurry in because the vehicles really are going fast. This offer is around for only a few more days, and you want the best selection. So at St. Charles Hyundai, they are the #1 volume Hyundai dealership in the metro St. Louis area, and they have been since 2015. And they have just received a special allocation of the Hyundai Tucson and the Hyundai Santa Fe. So for best selection, hurry on in. They are part of the St. Charles Automotive Group. That includes St. Charles Nissan and Genesis of St. Charles. And at St. Charles Hyundai, they just completed a new state-of-the-art showroom. It's absolutely beautiful. So the showroom is new, but the employees, the managers, the sales staff, they're familiar faces. They have been at St. Charles Hyundai for a long time, and that's why you have so many repeat customers there. In fact, 50% of their customer base are repeat customers, kids, parents, grandparents, because St. Charles Automotive Group is one of the last truly family-owned and operated dealerships. Visit them today a quarter mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70, stcharleshyundai.com.
Get ready to celebrate KMOX Day at the ballpark. Returning to Busch Stadium Wednesday, August 30th. With a purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will take home an exclusive KMOX Cardinals stein. Celebrating the all-time great That's a Winner Jack Buck Hall.
The winner! A World Series winner for the Cardinals!
Only fans that present their theme ticket at the distribution will be eligible to receive the item. Exchanges will not be available at distribution. KMOX Day at the ballpark, Wednesday, August 30th. Get your tickets now.
Rowdy House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Don't miss your chance to meet St. Louis City stars Lucas Bartlett and Tim Parker at Rowdy House Brentwood Point on Friday, August 4th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Cardinals, Blues, Missouri State, Tigers, Billikens, don't be late. Rowdy House, Rowdy House. It's your city, it's your house, it's a Rowdy House.
See you August 4th at Rowdy House Brentwood Point.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Glickert with the St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and I know the secret. My unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no surgery, and no hypnosis,
call my office now at 314-207-8600.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and I really needed some help getting rid of those pandemic pounds, and St. Louis Weight Loss Secret has made it easy for me. I started losing weight right away and have lost 20 pounds in just 1 month eating real food, healthy food. I feel great. I'm going to keep going. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month, a half pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 314-207-8600, 314-207-8600, or online at moweightloss.com.
For a limited time, First Community is offering an 18-month certificate of deposit that pays 4.75% annual percentage yield and a 12-month certificate that pays 4.25% annual percentage yield. Unlike some high-risk investments, CDs are fully insured to keep your savings safe, and the return on your investment is guaranteed. Requires a $500 minimum deposit to open. Call 1-800-767-8880 for terms and conditions. Federally insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
Whether you're looking to fill low spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Bertie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
We all know about the speed of sound, but have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? Drive too fast and you could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, because one way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that. Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Ron, do you like mustard?
Sure, why not?
Do you like Skittles?
Sure, why not?
Would you like mustard-flavored Skittles?
Sure, why not?
You're such an idiot. There is a new flavor of Skittles. It is the French's Mustard Skittle.
Come on, really?
Yeah. McCormick and Company, the Hunt Valley-based spice maker that owns French's Mustard. And the candy brand Skittles have partnered to honor National Mustard Day, which is August 5th. And on a Tuesday press release, they announced they would be making yellow mustard flavored Skittles.
Does everything have to have a day?
I don't know why. Everything
National
has a day.
Pizza Day, National Burger Day, Ice Cream Day. Great. Those all make sense. Do we need National Mustard? Is there a National Ketchup Day?
Oh, for sure. That
There
one
is?
had to have come first.
We should have talked to our ketchup bottle people about that.
Bad news for most people in the U.S. It's a 3-stop East Coast tour with the Mustard Mobile. And Atlanta, Washington, D.C., and New York City are the only place that you can get these mustard-flavored Skittles.
There is. June 5th.
Yeah, how
June
in the
5th
world...
is National Ketchup Day.
Did you actually think that they would have a National Mustard Day and not have a National Ketchup Day? Ketchup is way more famous than mustard.
The National Mustard Lobby and the National Ketchup Lobby, they're always competing.
Big Ketchup
for people's imaginations.
Big Ketchup is way more influential than Big Mustard.
Wow.
You know why? There's too much variety in mustard. You know, there's the Grey Poupon. They kind of break off. Ketchup really knows how to unionize. All the ketchups are all together. Like, let's just keep it plain. Because you always get these random, like, boutique ketchups. They don't make it. But mustard is way more bifurcated, way just diversified. You got to keep the mustard yellow. Keep the mustard, like, that's what ketchup did. Ketchup stayed plain ketchup. Yellow mustard decided,
there's all kinds of flavored ketchup.
We're going to have Grey Poupon, but not in the same way.
Okay. That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. We talked a little bit about Mitch McConnell and what happened to him yesterday. Very bizarre scene there. Should there be an age limit in Congress? We'll talk about that and more next on KMOX.
Ask yourself, what am I doing to guarantee I will have adequate inflation-hedged income that I may never outlive? Why not make sure your future income is growing and may last as long as you do? Call for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233. And also join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, so why don't we do something about it? With Neovitin Men's 50 Plus, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Formulated for men over 50, Neovitin Men's 50 Plus gives you B vitamins to support energy and our proprietary physician-formulated blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Do something about your health today with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus. Available at your local Schnucks and Dierbergs.
Hey, Debbie Monterey here. Before you sell your home, you should know what it's worth in today's market. Call Gloria Liu. She'll tell you. With 20 plus years of experience, Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty has been successfully selling homes in your area for more money than the average agent. Gloria has multiple selling options that give you, the seller, the power of how and when your home is sold. A few of Gloria's options include bringing multiple cash offers from her substantial pool of investors, a zero commission program, and don't forget Gloria's guaranteed sale program. How can Gloria guarantee the sale of your home? Because Gloria's database of buyers is huge, and she's so confident that she can sell your home that she can put her own money where her mouth is. So just call Gloria today, your local St. Louis real estate expert, at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At Diamonds Direct, we want to make something very clear. We will absolutely beat the price of any comparable diamond that you find anywhere else. No fine print, no disclaimers, just a rock-solid, unqualified, nationwide price guarantee. This goes for 1-carat diamonds as well as 15 and 20-carat diamonds. You see, at Diamonds Direct, we're more than just another jewelry store. We're part of a world diamond powerhouse with direct access to the world's top diamond mines. We have our own diamond cutters too, so we are active in every aspect of the diamond market every single day, from source to showroom. So when you see a diamond somewhere else, online or in a store, or from some so-called supplier, just know that apples for apples, you will get a better price at Diamonds Direct. Our volume, our connections, our buying power make this possible, and it's why we've never ever lost a sale due to price. So at a time when value means so much, we invite you to take this challenge and let us prove it. Day in and day out, you will always get a better quality diamond at a better price at Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Online at diamondsdirect.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we've got some sun. It's 92 degrees, and it feels like 99 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. Experts say the blistering heat is beyond record-smashing.
Scientists say this month may be the hottest in 120,000 years. In fact, July has been so hot that scientists calculate this month will be the hottest on record globally, and likely the warmest human civilization has ever seen. And there are still several days left to sweat through. The announcement is from the World Meteorological Organization and the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service. Here in the U.S., nearly 40% of the population faces heat advisories. That's according to the National Weather Service. Temperatures are expected to break 100 degrees today in Phoenix, Oklahoma City, and Lincoln, Nebraska, just to name a few places. I'm Rita Foley.
New developments in Washington in the 2020 election investigation as we hear from CBS's Scott McFarland.
We've seen the January 6th grand jury here at the federal courthouse in Washington today. It's our first sighting of them this week, and really any sighting of them is impactful and imperative at this moment. The expectation is it can happen as early as today now.
A dramatic unraveling of the high-stakes plea deal for Hunter Biden in court yesterday. The agreement to end Hunter's legal troubles is now on hold after the judge challenged key parts. CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman.
The judge was stymied by a provision in the attachment, which is called the pretrial diversion. That had to do with a gun, that the gun charge would just go away if Hunter Biden went into a diversion program for 2 years. What the judge saw was that the responsibility for deciding if he had violated the diversion agreement during that period of time became hers.
A plea deal is still possible. The parties have 30 days to answer the judge's questions before she makes a decision.
The Land Reutilization Authority is the oldest land bank in this country.
And Lance Knuckles is the LRA's director. He says they've recently adopted changes to their sales policies to make things more transparent, efficient, and equitable. The city agency owns hundreds of properties, mostly in North City. The LRA will be launching a new website.
And have a roadmap to allow residents to understand each step in the journey so that people can be more informed around the rigor, because we are expecting residents now to show a little bit more capacity
to purchase a property and then refurbish it into something livable that could return to the tax rolls. The government's GDP, or gross domestic product, report for the second quarter shows accelerated expansion. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
The numbers were better than expected. The gross domestic product that tallies the value of goods and services sold in the U.S., it increased by an annualized pace of 2.4%. Now, this is a strong showing powered by consumer spending on goods and services.
The KMOX Business Desk, an internet original, tries to keep up.
eBay is struggling with a shrinking customer base. The company's trying to remain relevant after losing market share to Amazon. And traditional retailers such as Walmart have improved their online offerings. The company's looking to sell more luxury items to boost revenue. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Down from Stifel, up 12 points to 35,532. We've got closure of the ramp 70 East from Lindbergh to 70 East because of some road work that's there. Also had a report of some road work on 141 South at 6440 where the right lane has been closed.
KMOX AccuWeather, a hot and humid afternoon with a gusty breeze and some sunshine, up to 101, 103 tomorrow, and then upper 90s on Saturday. Thunderstorms will bring an end to the intense heat and humidity for Sunday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got sun and 92 in Florissant, 92 St. Peter's, also 92 degrees downtown at the Arch. It feels like 99. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show.
Sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info@cardinals.com.
Hi, yes, just a quick call. You had said at the beginning of the show that no more talk about Amy's birthday, that you were going to talk about serious matters today. I actually turned you off yesterday because I got tired of hearing about Amy's birthday, and today I thought when you said that, you'd be serious, and now we've been talking for 10 or 15 minutes about this bathroom problem. So I'm sorry, turning you off again this morning. Hope tomorrow will be better. Thanks.
I do too.
Listen.
You old miserable lady.
Oh my gosh! Like I don't want to
She's
drag.
miserable.
I don't want to drag Agnes or whatever her name is, but
It's gotta
I
be.
feel pretty sorry
Agnes.
for her. What a sad existence.
I'm sure she's fine.
What's funny is last year we got in trouble because we didn't mention my birthday at all. And remember, our boss was like, how are people going to think that you guys are friends if you didn't even know it was her birthday? I didn't say anything, and I'm not on, I don't do birthday on Facebook. So we mentioned it. We mentioned it yesterday, the big 4-0, and Agnes hates it. Agnes,
I'm over your birthday. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'm so sorry, Agnes. Here's the thing, Agnes. Tomorrow is not going to be better. This is as good as it gets. And I don't know. I can't tell if Agnes, we absorb a lot of news, right? 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
It is war in Ukraine, and it is crimes against humanity and the border and abortion and mass shootings and homicides in the city of St. Louis. And we just absorb that, right? Hour after hour after hour. So sometimes it's kind of fun to say, oh my gosh, it's my 40th birthday. I think let's mention it. Agnes maybe can't get enough of mass shootings and homicide and abortion. Maybe she loves
we could
it.
do all kinds of that stuff.
Yeah. So Agnes, if that's your jam, I mean, more power to you.
Maybe she wants. We're on for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe she wants at least 2.5 hours of Hunter Biden talk.
Maybe
that's what she
Hey,
wants.
Agnes, can you call back and
No,
tell us
don't.
what you would like us to talk about?
No, don't. I don't want to talk to Agnes. I'm over Agnes.
Well, she's not listening.
I can't.
We'll have to
I
tell her
can't tell. Listen,
tomorrow.
I can't tell if I'm more over your birthday
Yeah.
or Agnes.
Oh, if we had to talk for 5 minutes about my birthday or bring Agnes on, it's a toss-up, honestly.
I'm gonna turn. Why would you?
Try smiling.
Listen, I love voicemails. 314-944-1120. What I think is funny, is when you go out of your way to leave a voicemail to tell people you're not going to listen.
I know. But she's
Why would you
going to
go through
listen
the
tomorrow,
effort?
though.
Oh, yeah, she'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, which I appreciate. And I don't know if it's just sentimental because maybe
We
you're...
should probably send her a cake.
No, because she doesn't like those things. We should send her homicide statistics. That's the thing she wants to hear about.
Dude,
Cake
love
is
it.
happy. You can't... This woman... Okay. Again, thank you for calling in. Thank you for leaving a voicemail, Agnes. But if you are such a sad person that you call in because someone talked about their 40th birthday and you're like, I'm turning your show off, but hope tomorrow's better. Let me tell you, Agnes,
It's
tomorrow
not
ain't
gonna
gonna
no,
be
it's not
better.
gonna be- This is
This
it.
is it.
This is you get this.
This is what it
So-
is. And unless there's some horrific tragedy, and heaven knows we've had a lot of those.
Yeah.
But because it's got to be a tragedy because the Supreme Court, they're done for a while, so it's not going to be any major
They
decisions.
can't do any more tragic stuff.
This
for a
is
while.
what you're going to get. Anyway, thanks for the call.
Look, I imagine 95% of people who are listening to any kind of show, they just look. You want to be informed. You want to talk about some of the more important stories, which
Substance.
we do that every day, every single day, most of the day, to be honest.
In fact, we get some complaints that sometimes topics are too heavy.
It's too heavy.
It's too
but
heavy.
Also, you kind of want to. Don't you want to have a good time?
Is it called
Don't you wanna-
gallows humor?
Well, that is a thing.
I think we have that being in
Oh,
news.
it's great. You got to have some gallows here.
I mean-
if you didn't make fun of serious stuff sometimes, you would go mad.
And let me tell Agnes this, since she seems like she wants us to talk about homicide. We and other news stations can only tell you about the homicides that we have time to tell you about. And then we are picking from what's being reported. And guess what? A lot of crimes, like the old woman that was beaten up in the parking lot in the Central West End by the guy that just got out of jail, wasn't even reported. We got that from a tipster because he didn't have a weapon. So think of this. By the time you get to it, it's triple filtered. We've heard about more crimes than you could imagine.
You wouldn't believe it.
Anyway.
We're on Facebook Live too.
Yeah.
And James says, Agnes is Latin for Karen. Can I tell you something about Karen? I feel bad for Karens around the world because one of the coolest people that I know in the entire world is named Karen. And this poor lady has gotten a bad rap just because she has a terrible name. I feel bad for her.
I know some cool Karens. I don't know that I know a bad Karen.
I only know one Karen, I think, that I can think of. And she's a great lady.
I think I know two. I can think of two Karens, and they're both pretty nice.
Okay.
They're really fun.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. I'm looking at my phone. There's one Karen that is just, she sucks. So, but the other ones, the other Karen is great.
But think of how many, like, Mike, Joe, Steve, Dave, Jennifer, Brittany, whatever the common names are, you're going to see good and bad ones.
Sure.
Poor Karen.
We got a text message. You know what? By the way, that whole thing was not for you to just text into the show and go nuclear on poor Agnes. She's
not listening until
she's
tomorrow.
not. She turned it off. But you can text us something nice if you want. 314-436-7900. I mean, some people are saying some really mean stuff to Agnes. I'm not going to read those.
No, don't read it because Agnes, we feel sorry for Agnes. Agnes, come on, smile. Come on, Agnes.
You told me that women hate to be told to smile. And now you're telling Agnes to smile.
I don't know. That's never been my line. That's other people. You've probably heard from other people, but that's never been my line. Like, smile. Oh, no. People tell me to smile, but it has nothing to do with me being a woman. It's just because I always look really angry.
You are.
Because people will ask me, I've had a couple people ask me, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? You look upset.
No.
And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And this is just my
okay.
face. Yeah. So it's not the misogynist, hey, lady, smile. It's more of, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Do you want me to call 911? No, this is my face. This is what I look like. Speaking of substance and old people.
Wait a minute. We didn't leave a whole lot of time to do this because we just blasted poor Agnes for 20 minutes.
Let's continue it. Let's set it up and get calls.
Yeah, we're asking you this question. We've already had a couple of text messages on this issue.
And we mentioned it with a little bit with Major.
After what happened with Mitch McConnell yesterday, after what we've seen from Dianne Feinstein when she came back, from being out of work for several weeks, even though they said she was working while not present, which I don't believe. You've seen Chuck Grassley. People talk about President Biden all the time and his age. Should there be an age limit on people in office? National office, in Congress, president, vice president, the House, the Senate. Should there be an age limit? 314-436-7900. And if you say yes or no, tell us why you think that.
We can also add a qualifier because I can see how an age limit might seem ageist or a blanket statement, but could there be a mental fitness test, a competency test, or something that you do have to take once you hit a certain age? Because there are some very vibrant 75, 80-year-olds, and there are some who are not so vibrant. I mean, Mitch McConnell's 81, Dianne Feinstein is 90. It's an extremely stressful job, and they look the worse for it.
That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. 314-436-7900 on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We are Andro Law, your St. Louis legal powerhouse. Auto accidents, work injuries, pharmaceutical litigations, we do it all.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
According to the U.S. debt clock, in the time you hear this commercial, our nation's debt will go up by $1.5 million. That's more than $2 billion a day. Right now, our debt is over $31 trillion and climbing fast. The question is, how do we pay it off? The answer is increasing taxes. Now think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now when rates are historically low, or later when rates are potentially higher? Whether you should pay taxes now or in retirement depends on a lot of things. Heisey Advisory Group knows what to look for and can help you create a customized plan so your retirement is as tax efficient as possible. Schedule your visit with Heisey Advisory Group now, 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, and SEC-registered investment advisors. Security products and services made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. AEFS and Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC are not affiliated. Always consult with an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation.
Can you imagine being a superhero with a sidekick? Can you imagine you can fly?
Your sidekick shows up wherever you are.
In a fancy blue truck.
And whatever you point at disappears.
1-800-GOT-JUNK is your sidekick.
We're twitching in anticipation.
Vibrating with energy.
We haul away whatever you point at.
Any home or apartment.
Workplace or job site.
We're industrial strength sidekicks.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Glickert with the St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and I know the secret. My unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no surgery, and no hypnosis,
call my office now at 314-207-8600.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and I really needed some help getting rid of those pandemic pounds, and St. Louis Weight Loss Secret has made it easy for me. I started losing weight right away and have lost 20 pounds in just 1 month eating real food, healthy food. I feel great. I'm going to keep going. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month, a half pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 314-207-8600, 314-207-8600, or online at moweightloss.com.
KMOX, the 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year, recognized by the Missouri Broadcasters Association. KMOX, we were built for this.
It's Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX. Chris and Amy show today with you, and we asked the question after what happened with Mitch McConnell yesterday. He was in the middle of answering a question in front of reporters, and we've seen President Biden stumble over words or say something confusing. What happened with McConnell yesterday, he was in the middle of an answer and then just stopped talking right in the middle of it. He wasn't finished with his sentence, and he just had this blank stare, and I don't know, would you say 15 seconds go by, 10 to 15 seconds go by before people around him, kind of put their hands on his shoulder and said, hey, let's maybe walk. Something happened with him.
It was quite a long time.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned the blank stare, and I think that's key. He not only stopped speaking, he stopped moving, but he seemed to have no idea where he was.
Like he went into a trance.
Yes.
It was very strange.
There was another senator who was a doctor, I believe, who came up, and they kind of put their hands on his arms to kind of guide him away, because they could tell he didn't even have the capacity in that moment to know that he was freezing up at a press conference, to know that he should walk away. It was quite sad, honestly. Frailty.
It was.
I felt bad for him.
I am not a fan of Mitch McConnell at all, but I didn't like that.
No, it was sad.
That was very sad. This was a poll from last year, a Reuters poll from the end of, it was last fall that it came out, and asking people if there should be age limits for service as president, senator, and House of Representatives. Just over two thirds of people say there should be. 72% of Republicans and 69% of Democrats agree that there should be some age limits for that. However, and here's where it gets a little confusing, because there is a recognition by the general public, almost 2/3 of people, that people who are older do have valuable experience and should not be discounted just because of their age. So what you have is the 2/3 of the public thinks there should be some kind of age limit, but also 2/3 of the public believes that, well, actually older people have some valuable experience and institutional knowledge they can bring to the job.
Yeah.
So can you really just put a blanket number out there, say it's 75? If you were older than 75, you can't hold a major office. People want that, but they also don't vote for that either. You know, so this is I think it's a really complex issue, and I don't know that you can just do this.
Here's something that you can't call ageist. I would hope it's not ageist, but we have something that recognizes senior citizens and the challenges that they may have as they get older, and how you may experience cognitive decline or physical decline at an accelerated pace as you get older. In Missouri, for the most part, we all apply for 6-year driver's licenses. We get our driver's license every 6 years. Once you turn 70 in the state of Missouri, you get a 3-year license, because it's an acknowledgement that 70 to 76, there can be a much quicker pace of cognitive decline, physical decline than between 20 and 26. So to me, there's a state law that recognizes after 70 something's happens. Could we not do something in Congress? Once you hit 70, there is something that you have to do. I mean, I know that sounds a little harsh, but
yeah, here's where it's complicated for me. If people vote for you, I don't know that you can take their vote away, even if they voted poorly. And it happens everywhere. There are Democratic strongholds and Republican strongholds alike that vote for terrible people and put them in office no matter what. But that is the voice of the people. So should you take away their vote and say, yeah, we elected you, but man, you're 75 and it looks like you're losing it, so now you're removed from office?
Yeah.
I don't know how you accomplish that fairly.
I actually get your point on that, because you could look at someone who literally has lost something off their fastball. I'm not talking about Mitch McConnell or Dianne Feinstein. I think I've told you how I feel about Joe Biden, that he's not in the mental capacity to have the toughest job in the world, being president of the United States, or at least the most stressful job. However, if you look at a congressperson who's a little too old and has lost something off their fastball, how can you say, well, he's not really doing his job, and then go, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's young but out of her mind, is totally fine. So I understand that there's something to be said for taking away an elected official. But my goodness, has Congress always been this old? I said no, because these are the same people that were in Congress when I was a kid. When you're looking at McConnell, Feinstein, Biden, Grassley. Have we always had people like this many people?
The average age hasn't changed all that much, if I'm not mistaken. But you do have some outliers where it feels like, oh my gosh, Congress is so old. But the House of Representatives actually got younger. The Senate got older, I believe, or maybe I might have that backwards. But one of the part of Congress did age a little bit while the other went down in age. And I believe it was the House of Representatives that got a little bit younger. I don't know what you do about this. I think you kind of have to take people. You have to put faith in people in office, and I realize that's a huge ask, but I don't think there's another really good way to do it. And what I mean by faith is you have to hope that Mitch McConnell himself comes to a realization, and Dianne Feinstein comes to a realization, and Chuck Grassley that, hey, maybe I shouldn't be here any longer. Maybe it's time for me to hang it up. Now, I realize that sounds naive, because they're probably not going to do that. But I don't think there's another good way to do it. I don't think you can legislate any kind of age limit or cognitive test.
Is that cognitive ability, along with a corresponding declining age, are those mutually exclusive? Meaning, if you have the cognitive capacity to realize, I'm not here all the way, I shouldn't be doing this job, then you might be good enough to do the job. And if you are not in a state mentally to do the job, you're not going to recognize it. In the same way that so many grandparents, think of like taking a car away from your mom or dad or your grandparents and how hard that was. They couldn't see it.
Yeah. What I would say about that is people who are in cognitive decline, I think, realize something's going on with them. It's not like just one day they've completely lost it and have no idea that they've lost it. It's gradual.
But then they get to a point where they don't recognize it anymore.
But that's what I'm saying is maybe they should have more responsibility to realize, I'm starting to go. So before it gets any worse, I should get out.
Honestly,
I don't know. I don't know if there's another better way to do it.
I would say, too, the responsibility on that person, but also on that person's family.
John in Kirkwood with us on KMOX. Hi, John.
How are you guys? Here's I'm 73, so I'm not an ageist. I understand that everybody's different, but there has to be some number. I think 75 is a good number. And how you do it is you say you can't run after 75. Somebody could be 74 and run for the Senate and be there till 80, but they couldn't run again. The obvious cognitive decline in our president, in our wannabe, our most recent ex-president, our Feinstein, Grassley, Mitch McConnell. I mean, what other evidence do we need? We need to do something radical because we're being run by a gerontocracy who are looking after that's a senator. They control the nominating process, their entire state. They are never going to lose. If Chuck Grassley wanted to run, if he's alive at 102, he'd still win because he controls the Iowa Republican Party, as how Feinstein got in. I mean, it's obvious. We need to do something.
Well, what's the
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good
John, appreciate the call. Don't we have some responsibility to just stop voting for these people? If you think they're too old for the job, stop voting for them.
Right.
Stop voting for Mitch McConnell, Kentucky. Stop voting for Feinstein, California. Stop it. So if people don't change their habits in voting, I feel like that's the only solution because, again, we can set the limit at 75, okay? Are you telling me that there are no 80-year-olds out there who are sharp as they've ever been? Because I know there are.
Yeah, it's difficult.
There are lots of them.
Yeah, it's difficult, too. I listened to a really interesting political podcast, how the goal once you're in Congress is to just stay in Congress. Like, it's weird. They don't want to leave.
Sure.
They get used to that lifestyle because don't you think at an older age, go enjoy your family. Go enjoy sitting on the porch and drinking coffee in the morning. Why are you still on Capitol Hill?
I say that about Elon Musk, man. You're a billionaire. You're the richest person in the world or close to it. Stop tweeting.
Go fishing.
Go have fun. Enjoy your life. Amy Marks' chorus, Chris Ranji will give you the birds with John Rooney next.
Hey guys, this is Dave from the Dave Glover Show, 1 to 5 p.m. on KMOX. So you can't do a talk show without talking about politics now and then. I consider myself to be a down-the-middle, independent, free-thinking guy. I am capable of my mind being changed. Hopefully I'm capable of at least challenging you. With 5 people on the show, you're going to find someone who you align with. It's honest, it's real, it's challenging, and it's fun. That's 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. every day on KMOX.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan, president of McKelvey Homes. Founded in 1898, McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years with our inventory home sale. Get $12,500 off of all our market homes. Move in quick, lock in your interest rate, and get all the popular features and colors selected by design professionals. And for every home sold, McKelvey Homes will donate $1,898 to Dravet Syndrome Foundation. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Glickert with the St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and I know the secret. My unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no surgery, and no hypnosis,
call my office now at 314-207-8600.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and I really needed some help getting rid of those pandemic pounds, and St. Louis Weight Loss Secret has made it easy for me. I started losing weight right away and have lost 20 pounds in just 1 month eating real food, healthy food. I feel great. I'm going to keep going. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month, a half pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 314-207-8600, 314-207-8600, or online at moweightloss.com.
At 11:30, some sun and 93 degrees downtown at the Arch. Lawyers for Donald Trump are meeting with members of special counsel Jack Smith's team as a potential indictment looms over the former president's efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. It's every traveler's worst nightmare, hidden cameras. Now a couple who've been violated is suing.
A Texas couple is suing a Maryland Airbnb owner after they found cameras hidden inside smoke detectors in the bedroom and the bathroom. The woman and her fiance had been intimate in the bathroom and says that she feels shame and embarrassment. The owner is behind bars for a different charge, and the police found a safe in his house with more hidden cameras. The couple is suing for $75,000. Jen Clark, CBS News.
Do you check the sale prices before you buy your booze? Schnucks has been accused of misleading customers with their price comparisons in their print ads, shelf tags, and website. While the grocer denies that, it has agreed to settle a class action lawsuit to the tune of a $4 million settlement. If you're a Missouri resident who bought alcohol at Schnucks in the past 7 years, you could be owed some money. A valid claim would get a minimum of $11 of a payout, depending on how much you purchased. The deadline to file is September 8th. We're still looking at some road work on the ramp from Lindbergh to 70 East. Road work there that's forcing drivers to find an alternate route. And this afternoon, a high of 101, close to the record of 106 from 1930. For tonight, some clouds, low 82. Tomorrow, breezy in the morning, otherwise a mix of clouds and sun. Danger of dehydration and heat stroke if you stay outside for extended periods of time tomorrow. The high 103, the record 108 set in 1930. At the moment, some sun, it's 93, and it feels like 100 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
Hi, I'm Miles Michaelis.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Get ready for the Cards and Cubs tonight. Ameren Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX, sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
The pitch is swung on, and there's a high towering fly ball straight away center field. And this ball is high off the wall, in fact, over the line for a home run. A second home run today for Nolan Gorman. So the Cardinals get 2 on one swing and lead 8-4.
It was a big win. A lot of runs scored by the Cardinals yesterday as they defeat the Diamondbacks, and they will start a series against the Cubs at Busch Stadium tonight. Final score against Arizona yesterday, 11-7. And we are with you today here on KMOX. And usually we talk to John Rooney on Wednesdays. We had to change things up a little bit. We do it today. The Cardinals Report, brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated. RennerDoorSTL.com. John Rooney is with us on KMOX. How's it going, John?
It's going fine. Nice to be home.
Yeah, it is nice to be home. And you went from 115 degrees to 101. So it must feel nice to cool off a bit.
Oh, it feels great. And to have the humidity, you can't beat it.
You can't beat it. Okay, I know we don't have you on to talk about the weather, John. I know that, but I do have to ask.
I was a weatherman. I was a weatherman way back when, in 1976, at Channel 12 in Joplin.
Were you really?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I had to do the weather to be able to do sports on weekends.
Oh.
So I had to do both.
Okay.
And I used to have to build the weather map. And you had to do that with these magnetic cold fronts and stationary fronts and all that. I used to have the cold fronts upside down. I had pilots calling me saying, you might want to turn that over.
So you did not you did not get your American meteorological
No.
certificate.
And but I did the weather just so I could do sports. And one Saturday night, I go, well, it looks like it's going to be a great weekend, so get out there and enjoy it. Sports is next. So I finish up and I get in the car. It's pouring. So that's covering it.
So this was TV, like a TV weatherman.
That's right. I was
the
doing
best.
TV. I wanted to do sports, but they had an opening. You had to do weather to do the
Awesome.
sports. So
And you know what?
I got a little experience with that and got to shoot a little film and cover a couple of things. And it was interesting. I was working for a radio station in Pittsburgh, Kansas at the time, only about a half-hour drive over to Joplin. And then later moved on and became Missouri Net, Learfield's first sports director, and started doing Mizzou games a year later.
John,
That's awesome.
you were doing weather in a part of the country that really needs to have accurate weather, you know? Like, I mean, Kansas
Well,
through
it was
Missouri,
just
and
a
you're in
shower.
this.
It was not a deluge or a severe thunderstorm.
Yeah.
That never happened.
Wow.
No, it was just a pop-up shower, and it didn't last more than 15 minutes. And it was kind of like in Chicago last week. I didn't feel so bad after being in Chicago for the rain blaze that we had on Friday, because we didn't see that coming. When I went to the park, absolutely no rain. There was nothing all day long. I think it had like a 15% chance of rain, and we sat there through almost 3 hours of rain delays.
Well,
2 hours.
And that's why, I did not know you were a weatherman. But, and before I move on to baseball, and then I just have to ask, because it's been historically hot in Arizona. Did it just hit you when you stepped, like when you got off the bus or get out of the car, walked to your hotel? Could you tell it was that next level historic heat, or because it was a dry heat, you managed okay?
Well, I used to have a place in Arizona when I worked for the White Sox, and I got down there for the All-Star break. So I kind of knew what to expect because the heat's in the 100s this time of year anyway, not that hot. But after the first day, you grow to expect it. You walk outside, it's going to be hot. And when I was living down there, you finish up what you need to do before 10 or 11 o'clock and then stay inside. Or if you have to go somewhere, get out of the car, get inside. And that's the way people deal with it.
So, John, we saw Jack Flaherty make his start, and it just feels like, and it was a 5-inning game for him. He gave up 3 runs. He, even speaking after the game, just seems like he's aware that may have very well been it for him in a Cardinals uniform. If it is, how do you look back on the Cardinals career that Flaherty has had?
Well, a great start when he first came up, and then injuries. Injuries really took a toll and set Jack back, for that matter. But we've seen him at times this year where he had flashes back to that first year in the big leagues, where he just turned so many heads the second half of the season and established what we expected of Jack Flaherty down the road to be an ace. He has that kind of stuff. And whether he goes somewhere on a trade or wherever he goes, there's still a chance he could come back because he'll be a free agent when this season is over. And we'll see if the club that picks him up wants to extend him or whatever the deal might be, if indeed he is traded. That hasn't happened yet. But in all likelihood, you would think with a free agent year coming up and the trade deadline coming up, that Montgomery and Flaherty will be pitching somewhere else next week. So we'll just have to see. It's all speculation right now. But I know that Jack spoke of that yesterday, that he feels like that's probably his last start for the Cardinals. But that's at least for 2023. There's always a chance he could come back.
Yeah, you did mention the trade deadline. It is on Tuesday. We will be covering it all day. So in case the Cardinals do make a move on that day, leading up to the deadline, where KMOX is going to have you covered. We'll have reports throughout the day. So you'll want to keep it here. But what is it like as we get closer to the deadline, John, the feeling in the clubhouse? I know people try to go about their jobs, but it's difficult to have this hanging over you, that there's a really good chance the makeup of the roster could look different in the next few days.
Well, they're human beings, and it affects their life, how they have to pick up in St. Louis and then get a place for the rest of the season, wherever they're going, and to get their belongings moved from one place to the other, and then go out and play baseball and pick up a new uniform, get a new locker in the clubhouse, and go about that business. So I'm sure that that's unsettling to think about for some of the guys. But what they do is when the game starts, they put that aside, and at least for the next 3 hours, they play for the St. Louis Cardinals. They're still in the Cardinal uniform, or they play for the Orioles, whoever they play for. And then they, I'm sure that creeps into the back of the mind again, what if? And it's a relief for many if they don't have to change, or if they do get a change that they expected. So it's a full gamut of emotions that carries a player that they're ready to play when they go out there at 6:45 tonight. But I'm sure that they're thinking about what if between now and the trade deadline.
John, with all the teams that you've called for in your entire career, is there a trade deadline that stands out to you the most, whether because it was most surprising with the team that you were working with or something else that went on in the league?
Well, in 2006, to pick up Ronnie Belliard, that was very important, and he played a big part in the Cardinal run for the World Championship and helped them get over the top. They just barely made it by with 83 wins that year and then won it all. But I think back to what was called the white flag trade with the Chicago White Sox, where they were just a few games behind the Cleveland Ball Club at the time, and they traded Roberto Hernandez away and Danny Darwin, and they called it the white flag trade because they just gave up. But they ended up getting Keith Folk, Bobby Howry, and they got Caruso, a shortstop, who helped them for a couple of seasons. And at the time, I looked at it, and being with the team every day, they may have been like 3 or 4 games out. It felt like 30 or 40 the way Cleveland was playing. And Cleveland went on to win that year. So they won the division. And that was one that drew a lot of attention nationwide and was dubbed the white flag trade. You mentioned it in Chicago. They know exactly what you're talking about there. But the best trade, and I don't think it came at the deadline, I'm almost sure it didn't, was Brock for Broglio. That's one of my favorites of all time. But at the trade deadline, it has become almost its own season now here in 2023, where you can go online and you can read speculation from now until the end of the season, if you like. There's so much out there. Some of it will happen. Some of it won't. There will be teams that will help reshape their ball clubs, but you have to be cautious because you're bringing in new people. And if you bring in a lot of new people, they may not have time to get used to one another in the clubhouse. There's another issue. So we'll see how all that works out.
I was told recently that you are a tech savvy, an incredibly tech savvy individual. So that leads me to believe that you've got 3 or 4 laptops on trade deadline, and they're all open at different sites, and you're constantly refreshing. Is that how you?
No,
play
I'm
it?
not. I'm not that tech savvy. I'm more into high definition audio players, headphones, in-ear monitors.
Oh, you're an
that kind of thing.
audiophile.
I don't like that term. That's so stuffy. And as I look on some websites, there are people that I'm going, really? You're going to act like that? And they kind of put people down because they're beneath them because they're not audiophile. I never liked that term, but I do like good audio. Yes, I do. I like high-res audio, and that's what helps me pass all the miles on the airplane. I just recently got a small tube amp to go with the player and a nice pair of in-ear monitors, and that's what I listened to coming home yesterday.
So you like good audio. How's this show sound?
What? I can't hear you.
What?
I need to run this through the tube amp, and then I'll let you know.
Yeah, let us know, man.
All right. That's awesome.
It's sounding great. Just sounding awesome.
John, you're the best.
He really is. All right, Cardinals Cubs tonight. 6:45 first pitch pregame show on KMOX at 5:50. Mr. Rooney, we will talk next week.
That sounds good. And the forecast for tonight is darn hot.
Yes.
That's right.
Enjoy the week.
What?
Does everything.
Hey, isn't that George Carlin would say tonight is dark? Like he would do remember when he would do the weather?
No.
Yes, you do.
On Carson?
No, I don't know what it was on. Saturday Night Live?
'Cause I think he was a
This
guest
is like
on
OG
Carson.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
I think he would say like tonight's it's gonna be dark.
Oh. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, 314-436-7900. Someone have my back on this. He's leaving me out to
Hey,
dry.
We need to talk about unidentified flying objects, now called.
UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena.
There was actually a congressional hearing about this yesterday. We'll talk about that next on KMOX.
St. Charles Nissan has their amazing celebration of savings through the month of July. So you don't want to miss out on your chance to get up to $3,000 off select models. I need to swing by the St. Charles Automotive Group. I just passed the 100,000 mile mark on my car.
Buy me a car.
And it's running a little loud, if you know what I mean. And right now at St. Charles Nissan, they just brought in new 2023 Nissan Sentras. Those have just arrived, plus a new batch of Nissan Altimas and Nissan Rogues. For the best selection, you want to hurry in because while they always have great inventory at St. Charles Nissan, people want to go somewhere that has cars on the lot. So they go there and those cars move off the lot quickly. Hey, also speaking of quickly, I know it can seem like a huge hassle to buy a new car, the new process. My mom and I, random, missed a concert one time because it took so long to go through the haggling process for this car I was getting, this old dealership that we went to. I wish I had gone to the St. Charles Automotive Group because you can be in and out of St. Charles Nissan with a brand new car in less than 60 minutes. And that is awesome. It doesn't have to be a hassle. They make amazing happen at St. Charles Nissan, a quarter mile east of Mid Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70, stcharlesnissan.com.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in. Or you find out you're expecting again. Or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20. Or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events. So call your Missouri Farm Bureau insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you. And we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Get ready to celebrate KMOX Day at the ballpark. Returning to Busch Stadium Wednesday, August 30th. With a purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will take home an exclusive KMOX Cardinals stein. Celebrating the all-time great That's a Winner Jack McCall.
The winner! A World Series winner for the Cardinals!
Only fans that present their theme ticket at the distribution will be eligible to receive the item. Exchanges will not be available at distribution. KMOX Day at the ballpark, Wednesday, August 30th. Get your tickets now.
Hi, folks. Joe Buck. The experts at NewSpace understand your home office is an important part of your home. Whether you work from home remotely or just need a place to get online, NewSpace can help design a comfortable space. Go to newspace.com to get started on your custom home office. That's newspace.com.
Spark St. Louis is the newest collaborative co-working office space located in the PwC Pennant Building at Ballpark Village. Spark supports local entrepreneurs and corporate professionals and features over 80 private offices, day pass options, monthly networking events, conference room, and special event amenities, while offering an innovative approach to city life where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within the neighborhood at Ballpark Village. Schedule your tour today by visiting Spark St. Louis online at spark-stl.com.
Hello Garage elevates your garage. Our pricing is always fair and reasonable. Plus, we offer discounts for public service, first responders, and military. In as little as 48 hours, get that extra entertaining space and get organized. Visit us online at hellogarage.com.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Bertie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. This summer, try some eco-friendly water sports like paddleboarding, swimming, or diving. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Siding Express can totally transform the look of your home by installing Hardy Shake, board and batten, or a stone accent to make it your dream home. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Go to sidingexpress.com to schedule a free no-obligation consultation today.
St. Louis, this is your show.
The show.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Have you seen the spacecraft? I have to be careful to describe what I've seen firsthand and not in this environment, but I could answer that question behind closed doors. Yeah.
And have you seen any of the bodies?
That's something I've not witnessed myself.
Man. Non-human biologicals.
Yeah.
It'd be really something if this were all true. That is the voice of David Grush, who is a former intelligence officer for the United States, also was in the Air Force, during a House Oversight Subcommittee hearing that was held yesterday, because there has been a recent big push by some members of Congress, the House of Representatives in particular, to get to the bottom of what are now called UAPs, which are UFOs, just a new cool term for it. And I don't know what to think of this. And this person, Grush, sees himself as a whistleblower. And this is coming from a guy,
former sorry.
Well, me,
Yeah.
this guy, me saying this. It's coming from a person who, when I was a kid, I was really into this stuff and the idea of extraterrestrials and the idea that there's no way we're alone. And I'm certain they have been here. Area 41 or Area 51, Roswell, all of these different sightings and everybody having the same story. They've seen the same thing. There's no way they can all be coincidence, right? So I really kind of want it to be a thing. I would love for it to be a thing. The older I get, I don't know, man. Like, it'd be very difficult to believe that in this expanse of the universe that is just so incalculably big that we can never really even conceive of how big it actually is, that there isn't something else out there. And I know this Fermi paradox idea has been around for a long time, that if there are other beings, where are they? Why haven't we seen them? I get that idea. I would like to think there is something out there, but the older I get, the less I feel like it's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I get it.
I don't
Now,
have a strong feeling about UFOs any longer, and I wish I did.
I guess I'm biased against it in the sense that I just don't believe there are aliens, and I know people think, oh, that's pretty selfish of you, and it's like, well, I don't. I don't think there are aliens
You're
out
coming
there.
from a religious perspective on this. I am not.
Mine's more faith-based for sure. And so for that reason, I don't believe that there are alien planets and universes out there. I mean, do I think there are things that we haven't discovered at the bottom of the Mariana Trench? Sure, because that thing, we're always discovering new deep sea fish. So that seems like a paradox, right? Amy, how can you believe there are still things to be discovered in the Mariana Trench, but not in the universe? So I get it. What's interesting is seeing this issue discussed in Congress.
That's what
by
this is.
Leading members of Congress and Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee. He's all in on this, and he has used some interesting language talking about what the government knows about UAPs. And he said it amounts to a cover-up. Quote, "The devil has been in our way through this thing. We've run into roadblocks from members from the intelligence community, the Pentagon, who has been the subcommittee's most vocal advocate." He has said that the FAA is, covering things up, these pilot reports, and he wants to make all of that transparent because he believes that the intelligence community, the Pentagon, the government are covering things up. I guess that's what he means by the devil has been in our way.
Well, the Pentagon does say that all of his claims are false, and I would imagine that if there is a cover-up, that's exactly what they would say, right? By the way, the line of questioning that you heard was Representative Eric Burleson, who's out of Missouri. So he was talking to David Grush. He's a Republican out of Missouri. And I believe whistleblowers, the idea of a whistleblower and the idea they should be protected, generally speaking, is a correct idea because they can be critical to truth and to us finding out things we need to find out. But sometimes I kind of feel like whistleblowers are full of crap and that what we call whistleblowing in reality is just a difference of opinion from people that are above them. Like maybe they just disagree or they think they know something different. And then we classify them as whistleblowers. This person is telling the truth. Maybe, but I don't think that's always the case.
And David Grush is a retired major and former intelligence officer with the Air Force. So it's not like he's a rando.
No, he's not a random, but doesn't mean he doesn't have a different opinion or idea.
And I was talking to a friend today who goes, you know what this is? It's a guy who wants a book deal.
That's kind of what it feels like to me. I would love to think he's real and this is all serious, but I don't know, man. Final hour of the show is next. Amy and Chris on KMOX.
When you hear Diamonds Direct, it's not just a catchy name designed to give the illusion of value. Our name is who we really are. Diamonds Direct was started by diamond cutters a quarter of a century ago. At our very core is a commitment to cut out the middleman and deliver extreme value in exquisite diamonds. Today, that's more true than ever, with our direct access to diamonds straight from the mines. Diamonds that we then cut and polish. Exquisite diamonds up to 15 and 20 carats in all shapes and sizes. It's an advantage other jewelers only dream of. By overseeing the entire process, we know for a fact Diamonds Direct is truly direct. So this year, as value becomes more important than ever, rest assured that Diamonds Direct's unique status in the world diamond market guarantees you the best no middleman direct importer price, period. And even with this extreme value promise, at Diamonds Direct, you still get an unbeatable selection, transparent education, a luxurious shopping experience, superior customer service, no compromises. It's not having a cool name or clever advertising, it's the truth. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Different real estate agents will sell your home for different amounts of money. This is Debbie Monterey. Don't be fooled into thinking that all realtors are created equally because they are not. Different realtors will get you different results. So the agent you choose to sell your home matters. The experience your agent has, the marketing, the database of buyers, the systems and capabilities of your realtor, they all matter. Why? Because how much you sell your home for matters to you. That's why I recommend you call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. According to MLS statistics, Gloria sells her listings for more money than the average agent, and she does it with less hassle. With 20 plus years of experience, our local real estate expert, Gloria Liu, knows how to get you the most money for your home guaranteed. Gloria also offers her sellers multiple selling options. So call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 12 noon, we've got sun and 94 degrees downtown at the Arch. It feels like 102. I'm Michael Calhoun, and that's our top story this hour. The dangerous high heat is just another day at work for many without air conditioning.
The hottest job this hot week may belong to Tyler McNeil. With a hard hat on and construction clothes, he climbs down a ladder beneath the hot asphalt to work in a steam tunnel.
They can range anywhere from 100, 130 degrees once you get down in there.
Doesn't that, you feel like a piece of cooked chicken?
Kind of. When it comes back up to the 90 to 100 degree weather, it feels nice. So.
And some garbage truck drivers say the garbage in the back smells especially sweet on days like this, and all they do is drink water and sweat and drink more water. With the people in the heat, Kevin Killeen, KMOX News.
Lawyers for Donald Trump were meeting today with members of special counsel Jack Smith's team as a potential indictment loomed over the former president's efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election, according to a person familiar with the matter. Trump earlier this month was informed by Smith's office that he was a target of the Justice Department's investigation, suggesting that an indictment could be soon. President Biden says the latest report on economic growth shows Bidenomics at work.
The report on the gross domestic product shows the economy grew at a rate of 2.4% in the second quarter, while inflation fell. The president says this shows that the economy is not only growing, but that his administration is lowering costs for families. The president goes on to say that the economy's continued growth builds on what was already the strongest pandemic recovery and lowest inflation of any G7 country. And he says the progress was not inevitable or accidental. He said it is Bidenomics in action. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Consumers have been spending plenty on burgers and shakes.
Where's the Coke?
The new Purple Grimace shake that went viral on TikTok gets a lot of the credit for a better than 10% jump in sales at McDonald's in the second quarter. Mickey D's says menu price increases and more customer orders also helped boost U.S. sales, which were up better than 94% over the same period last year. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
St. Louis police are asking for the public's help in identifying a suspect.
Police say the man abducted a 6-year-old child Sunday in the St. Louis Hills neighborhood. The child was riding a bike when the man grabbed the victim, took them to a vacant home, and sexually assaulted the juvenile. Police released surveillance videos showing the suspect wearing an orange shirt, khaki pants, and black shoes. We've posted those photos to KMOX.com. People with information about the suspect are asked to call the detective handling the case directly at 314-760-7360. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
The KMOX Business Desk. Facebook is making money.
Shares of Facebook parent company Meta surging after reporting strong earnings for the recent quarter. The social media giant is benefiting from a resurgence in ad spending. That's giving a lift to the tech-heavy NASDAQ, which is leading the way on the day. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's up 122 points to 35,642.
It's going to be very hot and humid. Sunshine, a gusty breeze, high 101. The record today, 106. Tomorrow up to 103. The record's 108. Thunderstorms keep us in the 90s Saturday, but also bring down the heat and humidity on Sunday with mostly sunny skies to high 92. I'm AccuWeather with the meteorologist Dean DeVore, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got sun and 94 in Florissant and St. Peter's, also 94 downtown at the Arch. It feels like 102. And the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show.
Sponsored by the Cardinals. Cardinal tickets for 2023 are on sale now and start at just $6. Info@cardinals.com. Time to rewind. It's the Chris and Amy Rewind Recap.
And now the latest in weather, here's Al Sleek, your hippy-dippy weatherman. Hey, Nick, what's that? What's them napping? I see the radar tonight is picking up a line of thunder showers, which extends from a point 9 miles south-southeast of Chester, Pennsylvania, along a line, and 6 miles either side of a line, to a point 8 miles north-northeast of Secaucus, New Jersey. However, the radar is also picking up a squadron of Russian ICBM. So I wouldn't sweat the thunder shower.
Are you happy now?
Yeah, it was the hippy dippy weatherman. Thank you to my mom and some callers and texters.
What was that from? Smothers Brothers?
The Smothers Brothers. George Carlin was the hippy dippy weatherman. My mom sent me one where it was, he's like, tonight
Sounded great.
It's light and getting darker. That was, how can you not like George Carlin?
I love George Carlin.
How do you not know about the hippy dippy weatherman?
I like older George Carlin. And I don't mean, George Carlin as he got older.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, we should ask Dean DeVore if the hippy dippy weatherman was a big deal.
When he stopped caring what anybody thought of him, that's when I liked George Carlin the most.
George Carlin was always somewhat subversive.
But he really let it go later in life. But it was
Kind
fantastic.
of like you've let it go.
Yeah, you know, somebody said here that this was to Facebook. We're on Facebook Live. We
Yeah.
encourage you to listen on the Odyssey app, download it and whatnot. But you can watch us on Facebook Live and YouTube. And a listener says, Chris, you are getting too old too fast. Slow down. Stop and smell the aliens and flowers and stuff.
Oh, is that because you stopped
Because
believing in aliens?
I didn't say I stopped believing in aliens.
You kind of did, though.
What I'm saying is I don't know if I believe they've actually been here. I think they're out there.
It did seem like,
just
though,
seems like
a little bit of the magic was gone for you. Like, I felt
It is
sad
a little
for
bit.
you.
Yeah, a little bit's gone. I'd love to believe they're here. And there was an actual congressional hearing about it yesterday, which is just wild
See, this
to me.
is, I feel like you don't, because let's say the aliens did come and it was like Independence Day. You wouldn't feel a little bad that you had wished that they were here?
Well, if it's like that. But then again, it's either that or the planet reaches 150 degrees. I don't know.
Why do we always assume they're adversarial?
I don't think we always assume that.
Would
I mean,
we
you've
go
seen
to,
it-
let's say we got to them first.
We're
got
not getting to them first.
But let's say we did. Would we just start killing them?
Probably. Have you seen how we act
Well,
normally?
I guess.
I guarantee you there are a lot of Putins out in outer space. A lot of imperialists out there in outer space.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure of it.
I'm sorry that some of your dream is dead.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. It's not dead. It's just, it's on, I don't know. It's on life support.
And I know we started the show on a somewhat lowbrow. It wasn't even lowbrow.
It wasn't
It
lowbrow.
wasn't a joke. It was a serious story. Ranj went to see Oppenheimer for the second time.
Yeah.
And there was an incident in the bathroom.
Which, okay, tell me if we're wrong on this. 314-436-7900. Here's what I saw. I went into the bathroom before the show. You know, everybody, you always look at the stalls just to see if anybody's in there. And I did. And I saw feet. And then I saw a giant tub of popcorn and a soda sitting on the ground.
That's so gross.
Right where you sit where the toilet is.
So,
and tell me that's not absolutely outrageously disgusting. Tell me it's not.
It's disgusting. And I've seen things where a lot of ladies will put their purses on the floor
I've seen
right
that.
next to.
I mean, not that.
Oh,
I've seen people put their bags, like backpacks and stuff.
Yeah. People put their purses on the floor right next to the toilet, and it just grosses me out. Now, I was at the Forest Park Visitor Center, and I was in one stall, and in the stall next to me, there was a slightly weird noise, like a brushing noise.
Mm-hmm.
And then clearly someone was brushing their teeth, but then, spitting the water or the toothpaste out into the toilet.
Ooh.
And then must have had a bottle of water and was brushing. And for some reason.
Or using the toilet water?
No, they weren't using the toilet water.
Okay.
But brushing their teeth into the toilet. And I know this person undoubtedly, hopefully, had their own bottle of water. But it was so off-putting, I almost died. Why? It was the grossest thing.
Just do it in the sink.
I know.
I don't know.
And maybe she thought that it would be gross to brush her teeth and spit in the sink, like gross for other people. But just knowing she was brushing her teeth over the toilet made me dizzy with disgust. And I know that a lot of people, like I've changed in the visitor center because so many people work out and do things in Forest Park before work, and then they change clothes. So it's not uncommon to have to change clothes or fix your hair in the visitor center, but I just never heard of anyone brushing their teeth over the toilet, and it's just so supremely off-putting.
Man,
Ugh.
when I saw that bucket of popcorn on the floor, I thought Amy is going to love this story.
Oh my gosh.
And
then he put it back in his lap.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, but then also the air, because the toilet and the bathroom air. Oh, okay, that's enough.
So we also spoke to Major Garrett because it's Thursday. We talk to Major every Thursday.
And the judge, doing exactly what the judge is supposed to do, saw this language, saw that it was unusual, said, I want to make sure I understand what everyone thinks this means, because I'm not sure what it means. And when it became clear that both sides didn't have a joint understanding of what it meant, she said, all right, the defendant here doesn't know what this is about. And I can't in good conscience allow any defendant, let alone the son of the President of the United States, plead to this if this defendant doesn't understand what the implications of that plea agreement are and what they may be in the future.
So on the tax charges and the gun charge, it sounded like Hunter Biden's team thought they had a deal. And when they got to court yesterday, there was no deal. So now he has had to plead not guilty in all of those. So the story is ongoing, Amy.
Oh, I thought you were going to play something.
No, that was it.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. And the investigation continues. And really, I think on both sides of the aisle, we can all agree Hunter Biden is good for everything he's being accused of. We know that.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt any of it.
The investigation, what we're really waiting for is how involved was the rest of the Biden family, specifically the President of the United States, and was their money channeled indirectly through Hunter Biden, through business dealings, through whatever it may be, to the Biden family, or how much did Joe Biden know? And that remains to be seen. And we don't know. We don't have any evidence or proof right now that Joe Biden knew anything. And it definitely goes without saying that someone like Hunter Biden, who is irrelevant except for his dad,
right,
who has addictions, who has issues, would use his dad's name to try for his own personal
I'm sure he
gain.
would.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what everybody...
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
I've hung out with friends like, oh, my dad. You know who my dad is?
Yeah. Your dad's not the president.
Yeah.
Hasn't been in Congress for 50 years.
Hunter Biden could sling Joe Biden's name across the room in a ton of conversations, and it doesn't necessarily mean that Joe Biden knows or knew.
I'll tell you
If
what,
he did,
if there's,
we need to go after that.
And I've said that before. If there's evidence that Joe Biden somehow knew something or was involved or encouraged it or whatever, and it was illegal, got to go after him. Same thing for President Trump. Same thing for Joe Biden. It's got to be done.
What I hate...
Because I don't want that. I don't want that in office. I don't want that leading me.
And
I
what
don't care who it is.
doesn't instill confidence is Joe Biden lies. He just does. I mean, politicians lie. Joe Biden goes back and forth. He says whatever he thinks he should say in the moment.
That's a politician.
Yes, to appease his base. But this administration, from going back to Jen Psaki as the press secretary, now Karine Jean-Pierre, they are so really relatively antagonistic to the press. And that's both right and left-leaning press. CNN, Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal have all issued complaints or letters to the administration about how the lack of transparency coming out of the Biden administration, the lack of access that reporters are getting to the president of the United States, the limited windows, the questions that are vetted. It's not a transparent organization. And with the information coming out that a Biden appointee was a buyer of Hunter Biden's art, may not seem like the biggest deal in the world, but this woman had given $200,000 to the Biden administration in 2020, the Biden campaign. She had visited the White House a dozen times. Now she's a Biden appointee on a commission, and it comes out that she bought Hunter Biden's art. And when Jen Psaki, a while ago, was pressed on, well, how is this not going to have the appearance of impropriety? She said it was the honor system. She couldn't name any safeguards to ensure that people weren't buying undue influence with the president by buying Hunter Biden's art. However, it was the honor system. Well, Hunter Biden promised not to know, and the buyers promised not to tell him. And I don't pretend to buy that for a second. To me, that's an insult to our collective intelligence.
The age limit of people in Congress is a topic now, especially after what happened with, Joe Biden has been getting all kinds of criticism for the way he will stumble over words or sentences or say something confusing. Mitch McConnell yesterday had a day that whatever happened there in the middle of speaking, he was in the middle of answering a question and just stopped mid-sentence and was silent for about 10 to 15 seconds. It felt like a minute. It felt like a very long time before his people next to him stepped in and kind of ushered him away. Something was wrong. Something very clearly was wrong. We asked the question, should there be age limits? And it kind of seems like a lot of people who are texting into the show at 314-436-7900 think there should be. This texter says, age is an important consideration, but term limits seem an even bigger issue. And that text comes from Pat, this one from Illinois, from a 618. Supreme Court needs limits as well. So they are suggesting that it should not be a lifetime appointment. Now, here's how I feel about, and I kind of, part of me agrees on the Supreme Court. I don't know that should be a lifetime appointment.
But you understand why.
I understand why, but I don't know if that should be a thing in modern life. But I don't know if I agree with term limits for people in Congress, because I do think that there is some value to institutional knowledge and being able to get things done in Congress by having been there for a while. Now, the difference between that and the Supreme Court is you are appointed in the court and you don't ever lose that job until you retire or die.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Congress, you might be in a favorable position in your district or your state or whatever, so you could keep getting reelected every 4 years, every several years, whatever, but you still have to get reelected. There still is a process you have to go through again where people get to vote on whether or not you get to keep your job. So I don't know that term limits in Congress are necessary or should be. I think they're two different things.
Yeah. Actually, this would be a great conversation to carry over tomorrow with John Hancock and Michael Kelly and their experience and differing points of view, because you understand why certain fail safes are put in place or certain processes are put in place in order to help make the system as honest as it can be, right? A system is only as honest as the people in it, and people are messed up. People will always abuse the system. So you try to put in fail safes, but there are loopholes. There are other ways in which the system will fail. It doesn't mean blow up the whole thing. It just means you need to reevaluate and say, is there a better way to do this?
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Ophthalmology Associates. Man, with this really bad air quality, whether it was the Canadian fires and the smoke that's down here or just fatigue staring at our screens, it's hard to know why your eyes are irritated. If they are, my eyes have been a little red lately. I know with the heat, with the sweat, with the air quality, it can affect your eyes. Well, here's the thing. Most eye doctor appointments, like your yearly eye exam, is covered by most insurance plans. So if you haven't been to an eye doctor in a while, you need to call the Ophthalmology Associates. Here's their number, 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, or youridoc.com. Make your appointment. You'll talk with Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Brusati, or Dr. Andy Royer. I see Dr. Birdie. Ranj sees Dr. Malhotra, and they can let you know. Maybe you've got allergies. Maybe you have dry eye because you're staring at your screen, or maybe there's something else because your eyes are a window into your full body health. So you don't want to put off that appointment. 314-966-5000, youridoc.com.
KMOX and Michael Calhoun awarded first place for news series by the Missouri Broadcasters Association.
Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy and Renner Garage Door. Renner's been servicing and installing garage doors in St. Louis since 1966. Residential, commercial, service and repairs, RENNER, forward and back. Renner, the company that does garage doors. RennerDoorSTL.com. Giddy up!
Benjamin Franklin said, failing to plan is the same as planning to fail. And that's especially true when it comes to planning for your retirement. Steve All of the All Financial Group can help you create a customized retirement master plan.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. We got a lot of people calling with a lot of different questions. Questions around their 401ks. What do they do? Rollovers. Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Call 636-230-8824 and schedule a complimentary portfolio review, or visit online at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services are offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. BWA and All Financial Group, LLC, are independent of each other. Insurance and annuity products are offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 803-9738.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Glickert with the St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and I know the secret. My unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no surgery, and no hypnosis,
call my office now at 314-207-8600.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and I really needed some help getting rid of those pandemic pounds, and St. Louis Weight Loss Secret has made it easy for me. I started losing weight right away and have lost 20 pounds in just 1 month eating real food, healthy food. I feel great. I'm going to keep going. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month, a half pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 314-207-8600, 314-207-8600, or online at moweightloss.com.
Trusted information, live and local. From the award-winning KMOX Newsroom.
Amy, you said something a few moments ago.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me.
Uh-huh.
Hang on a second.
Oh, great.
Schnooks owes me money?
Schnooks owes
Does
you money.
Schnooks owe me money?
Well, Ranj, have you bought alcohol at Schnooks between 2015 and now?
I'm sure I have.
Okay. So what happened is there was a class action lawsuit against Schnooks. And I love Schnooks. I just got my birthday cake from Schnooks. However, there's a class action.
I got your birthday cake at Schnooks.
Did you? It was so good. And I ate it. And then I ate another one
Yeah.
later that night.
You did? You ate
yeah.
that whole cake?
The one that you got me?
Yeah. And then you got more cake?
Well, are you going to judge me if I say yes?
Well, I'm going to judge you anyway.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. So Schnooks is paying customers up to $4 million. This is according to a proposed settlement for people who bought alcohol from Schnooks between December 3rd, 2015 and February 15th, 2023. Now, the allegation in the lawsuit is that Schnooks was incorrectly advertising its prices through print ads or in-store signs or website posts. And so people were being overcharged. Now, Schnooks is denying any wrongdoing, disagrees with all of these claims. But you could be compensated for up to $72.
Up to $72?
Yes, but here's the rule. Customers who bought at least 1 unit of alcohol will be entitled to a one-time payment of $11. No proof is necessary. Customers who bought between 25 and 55 units will be entitled to a one-time payment of $25 with proof of purchase.
Okay.
Customers who bought more than 56 units will be entitled to a one-time payment of $72 with proof of purchase. And my question is, if my life depended on it, I couldn't prove I bought any alcohol from Schnucks. Even though I have.
Yeah, I guess I could go back through my bank statements. But does that count?
They don't itemize.
That's
it just
true.
says
That's true. They
Schnucks,
don't.
$120. They don't itemize it, so you can't prove that you had
Does
alcohol.
anybody keep receipts like that anymore? Now, I know that if you are independent contractor or whatever, and you have to write things off, you need to keep your receipts. But do people typically do that? General public, do you just keep your receipts and then refer to them?
So
what do you? I mean, what do
you look at?
do?
You make a scrapbook. I don't. Especially the only receipts I would keep were generally like clothes purchases. If you think, I might return this, but now they just ask you, do you want me to email your receipt? And I say, yeah, email it. That's so much easier. With with grocery receipts, I've never kept a grocery receipt.
Oh, I haven't either.
Like I throw it away right away with the bags.
To me, the only reason to keep a receipt is if you might take something back. Have you ever returned anything to a grocery store?
I have, only because.
Oh my God, you have?
Yeah. Like if you buy something expensive, like blueberries or strawberries, and then you find that like the bottom layer of them are moldy, you got to bring them back.
Come on.
You can't spend $6 or $7 on blueberries and they're all moldy. I haven't done it a lot, but I have done it before. I also did it with it was coconut water, and I can't remember which store it was. But I took a couple sips, or it was watermelon water. That's what it was called, watermelon water. And I took a couple sips. I'm like, man, this tastes funny. I thought maybe it's supposed to taste this way. I've never had it before. And I'm like, no, this tastes kind of fermented, right? And I got sick.
Oh, you got sick?
I got sick, yeah.
So then what did you do with...
I just bring it back. I was like, I just want to let you know, like, I bought this yesterday. I don't know if you can look it up on something. And it's expired. Like, it had gone bad. I shouldn't say it's expired. It wasn't expired, but it must have been left out unrefrigerated.
Sure.
Yeah, because I got sick from it. Not super sick, but spent a lot of time in the bathroom. Heads up, reward members at Schnucks, like if you're thinking, hey, I bought some alcohol, you can access past receipts online or on the Schnucks Rewards app. Non-rewards customers can upload photos
or
PDFs of appropriate receipts.
Well.
Or physical receipts.
So this is a $4 million settlement. And honestly, I guess to some people, $20 might be a big deal. $75 might be a lot. My guess is if you're buying booze at Schnucks, then it's probably not that big of a
Let me
deal
ask
to
you
you in
this,
your
Ron.
life.
What if
I
I
don't
said
know.
you have to find all of the receipts of all the alcohol you bought at Schnucks since 2015, or you can pay $72 and get out of it? What would you do?
Oh, I would pay the $72 to get out.
Right.
I'm not going through all that.
I know.
I don't even like doing my taxes.
And I'm not.
That's why I don't.
and
I let somebody else do it.
I am not a proponent of being frivolous. I was just talking about this the other day. When people are openly wasteful with money, either because they're not appreciative or they're show-offs, sometimes show-offy people do that. It really bothers me. I don't care how much money you have. You shouldn't be wasteful with it. So I'm not saying, I'd pay $72 to get out of it, money bags. I just feel like I don't know how I would ever find those receipts.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're paying to not have to go through a monumental task.
Yes.
I think that's all that is.
Which we do all the time. We do that with hiring movers.
I love movers.
Man.
That's worth it. My God, is that worth it?
I would dig the hole for your grave more willingly than I would help you move from your apartment. And digging a hole is hard.
That's Amy Marks Coors.
What?
Wow. That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. We will talk to Katie Thomas with the New York Times next about doctors, healthcare systems profiting from amputations. That's next on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave from the Dave Glover Show, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on KMOX. This promo is going to sound like everyone else's promo, but everyone else's promo is a lie. They're just copying off of us. We are the original show about nothing. We're the original show about everything. We're just a bunch of smart people acting stupid and stupid people acting smart. And when you put it all together, it's a pretty good mix. We are 23 years in, and we are STLAF. That's the DGS, 1 to 5 p.m. KMOX.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Is your bank, brokerage, or your insurance company telling you to buy an annuity? They may have limited access to the best rates available. You need solutions, not someone pitching you a specific product. Call for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233. And also join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio.
At 12:30, some sun and 95 degrees downtown at the Arch. St. Louis police continued their refocus on traffic violations. Officers conducted an initiative along 3 major streets, North Grand, North Florissant, and North Broadway, and issued 93 traffic tickets yesterday. Those included 30 for dangerous driving, like speeding, and 8 for not wearing seatbelts, but 55 tickets were for issues like expired plates and no insurance. How do firefighters work fighting fires in brutal heat waves? It's not easy. Andrew Blegan is a firefighter in Minneapolis.
You might go through 2-3 pairs of shirts in a shift just because of sweating.
Minneapolis firefighters say they can handle the heat. It's the winter they're not a fan of when those hose lines start to freeze up. Federal officials are opening an investigation of the Memphis, Tennessee Police Department over repeated incidents of excessive force. Kristen Clark, assistant attorney on the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division, says the move is
to determine whether there is a pattern or practice of conduct that violates the Constitution or our federal civil rights laws.
The investigation comes 7 months after the violent beating of Tyree Nichols by 5 officers after a traffic stop.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Cardinals and Cubs tonight at Busch Stadium. It's a 6:45 start. We'll have the pregame at 5:50. Miles Michaelis is starting for St. Louis. He is one of 2 starters under contract for next season, along with Steven Matz. The Cardinals do have some openings in the rotation, and they are expected to be active at the trade deadline on August 1st. Some of the pitchers with expiring contracts, Jack Flaherty, Jordan Montgomery, Jordan Hicks, Chris Stratton, all are expected to be shopped or traded. No word on any contract extensions for any of those pitchers, although it has been widely speculated. This Cardinals report sponsored by Aloha Pools USA. Swim next summer, alohapoolsusa.com.
We've got a crash right now on the ramp from 6440 eastbound at Timberlake Manor Parkway. There's a backup to the Chesterfield Parkway. Again, a crash on 6440 going east to Timberlake Manor Parkway. This afternoon, we could come close to the record of 106 set in 1930 with a gusty breeze, lots of sunshine. For tonight, warm with patchy clouds, a low 82. For tomorrow, hot with a mix of clouds and sun and a high of 103. At the moment, it's 95 and it feels like 103 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. Our goal to bring awareness to local organizations and share how they're bettering our community. iThrive, spelled EYE, Thrive, gives low-income children the ability to thrive through access to vision services. When a child suddenly sees, we call it Christmas morning, says Director Kate McKearns. Listen to Building Community with Busey Bank at KMOX.com/community banking.
When it's hot, the last thing you want is your home's AC to quit on you. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you cool and comfortable quickly. Just call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourair.com. Don't forget, we're
always on time, or you don't pay it time. Always on time, or you don't pay it time.
independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
What defines us is who we are as a collective group and how we progress and gain momentum through the season.
The Coach's Corner with St. Louis City coach Bradley Carnell. Mondays at 9:35 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Sammy Marks, Coors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX. Hopefully you're listening on the Odyssey app, if not 1120 AM or 98.7 FM. We go to the Quiver River Electric guest line today, and we visit with Katie Thomas, who is an investigative reporter for the New York Times, and a really stunning story that was written by Katie and a couple of other journalists about these risky medical procedures that are taking place, and they end up resulting in patient amputations, and people, meaning doctors and hospitals, are profiting big time off these procedures. And Katie is with us now on KMOX. We appreciate your time this afternoon, Katie. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
We're great here. This story it's one of those that when you read it, by the end of it, you're infuriated. It must feel that way reporting on something like this as well.
Yeah, it was a difficult one to report, especially speaking to some of the patients, that were directly affected by it.
And this industry, which is a connection between medical device manufacturers and the hospitals and the doctors, it primarily targets peripheral artery disease. There are about 12 million Americans with peripheral artery disease. What is that, and why are these risky procedures focusing on that specific condition?
Right. So peripheral artery disease happens. It's about 12 million Americans who have the disease. And basically what happens is that plaque, which is this kind of slurry of fat and calcium and other materials, accumulates in your arteries, specifically in your legs. And for the most people that have this disease, they have either no symptoms at all, or they have minor symptoms. Most frequently, when they're walking, they have pain, but when they're sitting or still, the pain goes away. For most of those people, they don't need any treatment at all, or they need lifestyle changes, like, advice to walk more, to quit smoking, etc. And so these procedures, they're intended to target the people who have a very severe form of PAD, which is where that plaque can actually choke off the blood to your legs, and that also can lead to amputations. But what we were finding is because there's been this big growth in these outpatient clinics, and because the doctors who often own these clinics can make a lot of money from each procedure, that they're very aggressively using these procedures to clear out the plaque from patients, including a lot of patients that didn't need them in the first place. And those interventions themselves, especially if they're done repeatedly, can damage these arteries and can themselves lead to amputations.
And when you talk about treating that disease, some doctors are using metal stents or nylon balloons to push plaque to the sides of the arteries. But the risky procedure, is it atherectomies?
That's the name. Yes, it's not not one that rolls off the tongue.
Right. And that's the one where it's a little wire with a blade on it or a laser, and it's deployed inside the arteries to blast away the plaque. But that is the procedure that has turned out to be riskier than other procedures.
Yeah, just a little. That's close. I would say that the research has shown that all three of those things are interventions. They're kind of going into the artery and kind of making it, intervening in it, when really the research shows that people who have mild or no symptoms, they don't need anything at all. And stents and balloons can also cause problems. The thing that's really specific about atherectomies is that they are very lucrative for doctors because of the way doctors get paid. They get paid a lot more for these atherectomies than they do for these stents or balloons. And to your point, there is also some research that shows that the atherectomy device in particular can lead to more harm than the other ones.
And in the last 10 years, you've said that these procedures have skyrocketed. It's almost quadrupled. In the outpatient procedures, which means that fewer of the procedures are being done in the hospital. What's the danger of why is it more dangerous to do this outpatient as opposed to being admitted into an actual hospital?
Sure. I think the biggest thing is just oversight, right? Hospitals have generally more regulation. They have to be certified by the state. There's a lot more people kind of watching hospitals to make sure that they're doing the right thing. Whereas with these outpatient clinics, they're not as tightly regulated. The other piece of it is that the doctors own the outpatient clinics, and there's not the same level of kind of peer review, so to speak. Other doctors weighing in. Many hospitals, they have a process where if there is a bad outcome, they run this bad outcome by their colleagues, and they talk about, what went wrong, what can we do differently in the future. And, there's not as much of that in the outpatient setting. I will say though, one thing is that not every outpatient clinic is bad. And a lot of patients, find that it's really convenient to have these procedures done. And, if done properly and by, for the right reasons, it can be a safe procedure.
And so kind of summarizing what your reporting found is that, yes, these vascular procedures have been surging in the United States. One reason, as you mentioned, Medicare created incentives for doctors to perform all kinds of procedures outside of hospitals. The second reason is that medical device companies are just pumping equipment into the field and also creating incentives and discounts to clinics that do more procedures. So it just boils down to more procedures are happening not because of the welfare, the well-being of the patient, but because there's financial incentive to do more procedures.
To tack on to that, the money going back to 2011, and you point this out in the New York Times story, it was $86 million reimbursed to, the providers for these procedures. By 2021, 10 years later, that number's up to $612 million. Wow. That is 7 times the amount of money we're talking about going back 10 years.
Yeah, it's quite a growth for sure.
So what does that mean then for a patient who's, being told, we are told ad nauseum, trust our doctors, and you want to trust your doctor, but then the doctor recommends a procedure and you're thinking, oh my gosh, do I even need this procedure? What recourse does an average person have?
Yes, it's very, very tough. And I think that's why we got so interested in writing stories about this kind of thing, because, it's really hard to sort out if you're a patient, and, giving advice on how to avoid it is also really tough. I think that you'd want to look around, ask family and friends for advice, try and find kind of independent sources online about some of this stuff. Like, for example, as I said before, like most people who have this disease don't actually need these interventions. And that kind of information is available online. But, sorting this stuff out, I agree, is very difficult. And unfortunately, there's also not just a super easy answer for how to avoid it.
Yeah, I feel exactly in the same position because generally speaking, this doesn't mean every single time, but generally speaking, I do trust doctors, individual doctors who know what they are doing. I have a great, general physician. He's fantastic. I trust him. Generally I trust hospitals, but we're also being asked to, as a society, be more involved in your own, diagnoses and treatments. And part of that is the fact that we have drug commercials that are allowed where you get this, hey, here's this thing that's going to help your weight loss and ask your doctor about it. And so I feel like this is a very confusing time to be a patient because you want to trust your doctors, but also you're supposed to walk into the doctor's office and say, yeah, I saw this drug on TV. So do I need this or what?
Yeah, I agree. It's a very difficult time. That's for sure.
So what sort of recourse do people have other than, ask your friends, ask your family, ask around? Is there something that people can do to stay safer if they have something that they need to be dealt with?
Yeah, I guess you're saying if you have peripheral artery disease, if you've been told that you need this procedure, I think it's probably never a bad idea, especially if you have questions about whether it's really necessary. To your point, whether you feel like you trust your doctor or not, you can always get a second opinion. You can always try, if like I said, there are many outpatient clinics, to your point, that they have doctors who are doing the right thing and who are following the guidelines, et cetera. But, you could try a hospital clinic, I would say probably seeking out another opinion never hurts and is certainly something someone can do.
Katie Thomas, we appreciate your time and your reporting. Very good stuff in the New York Times. Thank you for visiting with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Katie Thomas, again, from the New York Times. I would find this story. It was posted on July 15th. So just go back and look for it and read it. And there are so many different stories similar to this. It's not just this one procedure. It's all kinds of stuff where hospitals mess up or they push a certain treatment onto a patient who probably doesn't need it.
I think it is so hard. Second opinions are always good. I don't know, third opinions, depending on what it is, because you really have to be your own advocate in a hospital. Also, if you are going through a procedure, have someone there with you, a spouse, a parent, a child, like if you're an adult child with you to also help be your advocate, because if you're processing a lot of information, depending on the diagnosis or the procedure that you'll be undergoing, it's a lot emotionally to take in. You might not have the wherewithal to ask the right questions, especially if you're going to be put under. Have someone there who can be your advocate. And it's just smart. It doesn't mean you distrust anyone, but you do really have to push for your own health and second opinion, or having a doctor that you've gone to for a long time and know really well before you just jump into a procedure.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. This is Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Well, if you are in the market for a luxury vehicle, you need to check out and test drive a Genesis. And right now at Genesis of St. Charles, their Genesis Signature event has arrived. They have exclusive savings available on these incredible select luxury vehicles. And like I said, even if you already think you know which luxury vehicle you want, before you buy anything, do yourself a favor and drive a Genesis. For instance, the luxury sedan GV70 at Genesis of St. Charles has $2,500 in rebates and savings in addition to any other special offers you may qualify for. And Genesis of St. Charles, one-stop shopping. They're building a brand new brick and mortar that'll be done in the next couple of months. Right now, it's in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom. You can check out all the new Genesis and stop over at St. Charles Nissan next door, or you can visit their largest inventory of pre-owned vehicles in the area. At any given time, 250 300 pre-owned vehicles for you to test drive. It's a quarter mile east of Mid Rivers Mall Drive, just off Highway 70. Genesis of stcharles.com.
Major League Baseball's trade deadline is Tuesday.
We know the season hasn't gone as planned.
What moves are the Cardinals hoping to make?
I definitely think we're going to treat the trading deadline as pitching.
Who'll stay? Who'll go?
We do know we have to make some changes.
Monday night at 6, it's a KMOX Sports Special, examining the trade deadline and what to expect. And Tuesday, we'll bring you all the news of what's happened. The trade deadline, sponsored by 360 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant, booking holiday parties and groups, and offering a great place to watch the Cardinals, home or away.
Whether you're looking to fill low spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. If you or someone you love don't seem to be hearing that well anymore, make an appointment today with Dr. Colleen Bosler at one of our 3 St. Louis area audiology center locations: Creve Coeur, St. Peter's, and Florissant.
Have you ever felt like sitting back or giving up at a family gathering because you're tired of working so hard to hear? Have you ever avoided going to an event because you know you won't be able to hear well? At the Audiology Center, we like to take a look at each person's personal needs. We want to get them exactly what they need to hear their best in all environments. Whether it's the television, noisy restaurants, family gatherings, or even just at home one-on-one with your spouse. We encourage you to make an appointment today so we can show you everything.
Thanks, doctor. You can make that appointment today by calling 636-441-7470 or online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
If you're looking for a reliable and trusted electrical service provider, look no further than Reinhold Electric, your go-to experts for all your electrical needs. Whether you need residential or commercial electrical services, Reinhold Electric has you covered. With decades of experience and a team of highly skilled electricians, we deliver top-notch solutions tailored to your specific requirements. No job is too big or too small for our experienced team. Call 314-631-1158 online at reinholdelectric.com.
Celebrate the month of the 4th with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129 and get a 4th room for free. Also, 20% off whole home air duct cleaning. Call right now. Ask for the DGS deal. 314-474-2020. ZeroResSTL.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. During summer, be sure to use dishwashers and stoves in the evening to minimize the effects of heat. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Have questions after being injured in an accident? We'll match you with the Onder Law team that's right for you and your case.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
Amy Marks Court.
Fabulous.
Chris Ranji.
Unbelievable.
On KMOX.
Amy Marks Course and Chris Ranji on KMOX. I did a thing. I got to tell you the story about a traffic issue that I had.
Oh, yeah, because I had a traffic issue this morning.
Okay, so this happened on the way to see the movie.
Mm-hmm. The first time or the second time?
Second time.
Okay.
I'm on the way to the theater, and I'm on Kings Highway, about to enter onto 44.
Sure.
Already far. And I'm turning right. And there's a car in front of me that's also trying to turn right, but there's a pedestrian walking toward us, okay? Going the opposite direction, crossing the street where the on-ramp is. Can you visualize it? Okay. So we have a green light, and the car in front of me stops and then goes, and then this pedestrian still kind of standing there halfway in the street looking at me, and then I start to turn right, and I, throw my hands up like, dude.
Yeah.
I'm driving here, trying to get on the on-ramp, and he looks at me, and
standing
I
on the
point,
on-ramp.
he's standing like in the street, and I point at the traffic light as if to say, hey man, I have a green light.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Why are you're messing me up, bro?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks back at me and he says something, he throws his hands up, and I go, man, what a jerk. And I start to drive, I get on the ramp, I pass him. And I go about 8 or 9 seconds, and I realized I was totally wrong. He had the right of way.
What?
I thought I had the right of way because I had the green light, but he also had the right of way because he's a pedestrian, and he had the green light.
And you're turning right into
his walking
lane.
path.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you're off. You're
I was
so
totally wrong. And I was MFing this dude, kinda, in my head. But it turned out I was totally wrong.
Man,
100% wrong. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I wish I could apologize to him, but I can't because I'm on the highway now.
Right.
So
right.
What am I going to do? Turn around?
No,
and go
definitely
find him?
not.
And then drive
Definitely
up next to him and say, hey man, really sorry about that. No. What a dummy. I'm so dumb.
Wow. Well, that's pretty rude. What's interesting is there was a similar situation this morning on Hanley. So you're on Hanley Road in Clayton, heading north. And we were running north on Hanley. So you cross over some cross sections, right? Some other streets like Forsyth and such. And there's a car also heading north on Hanley. And granted, it's 5:30 in the morning. No one's on the road. There isn't traffic on Hanley Road at 5:30 in the morning. This car comes up behind us and I guess wants to turn left onto Carondelet right when we're crossing Carondelet. And so he decides, instead of waiting us, and we're running, it's not going to take that long, waiting for us to cross, he starts to make the world's slowest left turn, into oncoming traffic, although there's no traffic. And he's just turning. And he's perfectly perpendicular in the middle of Hanley Road when another car comes. Now, granted, we're crossing the intersection, and we realize the only way that this guy doesn't get T-boned is if he accelerates into us and runs over us, or the oncoming car swerves at the last minute, which it did. This car was just turning so slowly, it figured, I'll just sit in the middle of the road. And he almost got T-boned. The car coming down Hanley swerved at the last minute, honked the horn. I threw my hands up in the air and looked at him because I don't say bad words. But
I think the reason we get angrier in cars and the reason road rage happens
I was on foot.
Is for, well, not you, but for whatever reason, people they're less considerate when they're in their car and less aware of their surroundings while they're in the car. And I don't understand why.
The minute you step in your car and you shut the door, you sit down, you become the most important person in the world.
Well, I don't know if it's that. I think there must be a feeling of isolation.
No, people are selfish.
And so it just manifests with a car.
And you're no longer a human. You're just a guy in a car.
Yeah.
You're just a car. So I can vent all my frustration from my unhappy life onto the next driver.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. But this guy was the worst driver. Why he decided to turn left. Why he couldn't just wait for us to cross. He started to turn left before we even hit the Carondelet intersection and nearly caused death on
Yeah. Oh, what a near miss.
Nearly caused death. This was almost the Chris show.
Well, no, because I would have taken the day off.
Oh, out of the grief.
Actually, I don't know if I take the day off. I may just, I might come in. Yeah,
what would you say about me?
What would I say about you?
Yeah.
Remember that time I asked you if you would be sad if I died, and then you started to cry thinking about all the nice things you would say about me at my funeral?
I would speak and at his funeral, and the eulogy I was giving in my head was so touching and beautiful that I brought myself to tears.
You got a mental problem. Hey, have a great day, kids. Well, rest of your day, we're going to talk to you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. It is Chris and Amy on KMOX.
I'm back and I'm alive. I'll be talking to you, baby.
Lombardo Homes is excited to introduce new floor plans to Sutton Farms in Wentzville. The Parkside series of homes offers ramps,